front page advertisements and hoardings.
Bro, where's the hook?
Cross-platform, digital first, virality.
Without a hook, no way. The message is clear. It's 2026. You gotta be real in a world of reels. You gotta be original in a world where everything seems generated.
That's it. That's what we're looking for.
The best campaigns,
The hottest trends.
the smartest brand moves on our new show.
But wait, what do we call it?
The hook.
They say morning shows the day. Markets often have other plans. By midday, the story can be very different. That's when the right insights helps you rethink the day. Trades, trends, the moves that matter. Join me, Nisha Poddar, for Markets at 12, your edge for every move.
Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. You are tuned into Crypto Minutes powered by CoinSwitch for your daily dose of news and updates from the crypto world with me, Sharad Dubey. Now let's take a look at the top headlines. Well, the Bitcoin reclaims the $81,000 mark on ETF flows. BlackRock slashes minimum Bitcoin to EBIT conversion. It is targeting $109 billion in client digital assets. The Genius Group plans $827 million in Bitcoin buy. Well, the Bitcoin has reclaimed the $81,000 mark on fueled renewed institutional demand via the spot ETFs, and the US spot Bitcoin ETFs has seen an inflow of almost $232 million on August 27. Now, Bitcoin's rally faces a key supply wall at $81,000 to $86,000, where the long-term holder break-even levels are there. Sell orders and positions, especially in the options, are converging. Global financial major BlackRock has slashed the minimum Bitcoin to EBIT conversion from $25 million to just $1 million, a 96% reduction. The move opens more participation, allowing eligible investors to exchange for ETF shares. EBIT stands for iShares Bitcoin Trust, which is a spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund, which is managed by BlackRock. Well, South Korea's Mirai Assets says it's targeting $109 billion in client digital assets, with Digital X at the center of push spanning a crypto, stablecoins, real-world assets, and security tokens. This signals institutional participation for crypto ecosystem. Singapore public company Genius Group announces their plan to buy $827 million in Bitcoin over the next 5 years. Genius Group is an AI-powered education company. This shows an increasing trend amongst the corporates to add Bitcoin in their treasuries, which is a good sign for institutional holding. And before we wrap, here's a quick check on the changes to the crypto prices over the last 24 hours. After a couple of days of consolidation, we are seeing a good buying, especially in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Apart from that, even altcoins such as Solana, Tron doing well in trade. Interesting support and resistance levels are flashing on the screen. But now, time to look at the crypto strategy for the day. Here's what's there to keep in mind. The market outlook is back at a bullish momentum. Remember, technical breakout right now is happening because of ETF flows, and the sentiment is extremely greed as well. So there is a word of caution which you should maintain while you are trading, and the new Bitcoin resistance range has been pushed up. Now it ranges between the $81,000 to $85,000 mark. Now as we wrap, remember you can reach out to CoinSwitch's dedicated helpline where anyone can connect with the in-house experts to get their queries resolved. Whether it's about crypto, regulations, taxation, or the broader industry, the team is available to provide guidance and help users make informed decisions. Well, that's all on this edition of Crypto Minutes powered by CoinSwitch. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hello and welcome back to NDTV Profit. You're watching Ask Profit, a show that will solve all your stock-related queries. My name is Puneet Zaveri. With me today is Soumit Sarkar, and wishing our viewers a very happy Raksha Bandhan. Hopefully you give your sibling a harder time next year. But as we look at the markets, we've consistently highlighted for the benchmarks that, we've seen that we continue to be in that range closer to that 24,100 to 24,600 mark. We started and actually ended yesterday just a tad below that 24,100, and hence have seen some buying come through over the last at least the hour and a half that we started trading today. Now, very importantly, we'll continue to watch where we end today as well, because the range essentially hasn't been that great. We continue to operate at the lower end. Let's look at the Nifty 50 also in terms of heat map, because we are seeing a couple of key counters that continue to do well in terms of the heat map for the Nifty 50 in terms of gainers. Those are HCL, Tech and TCS. So as well as Tech Mahindra and Infosys and Wipro. So the top 5 gainers continue to be from the IT pack. If there's any kind of short covering, maybe that could be your reason. But today we are seeing that index certainly do well. Bajaj Auto got a target price upgrade from CLSA. Hence that counter is up almost 1.7% too. While in the losers, you see a couple of them, ICICI and Ultratech almost down 1% each. But barring that, at least for now, we continue to be up about 70 points. Nifty IT is doing well as well, but let's look at the advance decline ratio for the broader markets. Now, yesterday, you did have some good moves, and hence the advances continue to do well, have been over the last couple of days as well. But today as well, that very neck and neck. So that line came through very close, then advances have continued to dominate, and the mid cap, small cap show you that exactly, as well as the BSE 500 for those individual movers too. Now, over the last couple of days, you've seen some good moves on financials as well, so as well as the gold finance companies. Today, Mastek is up 11% as well. Looking at the broader spectrum of IT, so is the small cap name doing well. Capri Global up 4.8%. And Just Dial has had a management change, stocks up 10%, locked in upper circuit. Whirlpool had some good moves in the start of the week, starting to see some reversal of that. Avanti Feeds and Crompton are the other ones as well that are continuing to be under pressure. But let's now start taking your stock-related queries. Joined in by Saumil Mehta. He's the head retail research at Mirae Asset Sher Khan on the technical side. Radharaman Agarwal, the Managing Director and CEO of Swarm Advisors, now joining in. Gentlemen, both of you, thanks so much for joining in today. Let me start off with the first question. A short-term view that is on PTM is what Mohit is asking us this question on. Saumil, holding shares at 1165, asking a short-term view on the counter.
See, my view is definitely positive on Paytm. It has been in a very strong uptrend in the medium term. In the very short term, yes, it can go down till at least 1640 or probably 1630. But keep a very strict stop loss around 1600 and hold on to the position. I'll be expecting the stock to go above 1770 or 1780, which is the upper end of the Bollinger Band on the daily chart. So positive in the short term, medium term, both.
Queries coming in on Panacea Biotech. Anil Nair from Abu Dhabi is holding around 180 shares, bought at an average price of 550. He's stuck at a high level, currently sitting on a loss. Should he continue to hold this counter or exit? Mr. Agarwal, any view on this?
I think he's stuck with the losses. Maybe he should hold on for some time, but he should not be averaging at the current levels. He should hold on maybe the current positions.
Got that view, Radhaman. But the next question coming through, and this one is from Sunny, who's from Karnataka, asking a question on Bajaj Consumer. He's holding shares at 201 shares, almost at 465. He can pull up Bajaj Consumer on screen. So stock's trading close to his level. He wants some medium-term view. Radharaman, how do you view Bajaj Consumer? It's not definitely a preferred name that comes to your mind in the FMCG space, but what's the long-term view? Is it good to hold for the medium term? What should investors watch out for?
I think it's a good stock to get into. In fact, if there's a change of management happened about a year back, the numbers have also come quite well. If you look at the last quarter also, the results were quite good. And we expect the counter to do well. In fact, we should add maybe at these levels as well to take it forward. So I think the counter looks good and the numbers have been coming quite good in the quarters. and we expect similar good quarters to come in going forward.
The next query is on Paradip Phosphate. Rohan from Thane is holding around 950 shares bought at a price of 64 rupees. He wants to know the long-term view on this counter. Mr. Agarwal, any view on this?
So I think he should hold on to the current piece. So effectively, in long term to medium term, the stock looks good, but he should be holding on right now.
Holding on, got the next question coming through. This one's from Hyderabad. Manohar actually dialing in for a stock query. Manohar, very good morning. Thank you for calling in today. What's your query?
Yeah, good morning and thanks for taking the query. It is regarding Billion Brains Garage.
Okay.
I want a short-term view to enter into the stock, whether it is the right time to enter and what is the right level. For a short to medium term, I want a technical and fundamental view as well.
Got it. Well, got your question, Manohar. Saumil, let me come to you then. Firstly, on Grow, how do you look at this counter now? Has been at that 200 range, then there are some bouts that it keeps coming below that as well. Is that a level that you're watching out for? What's a stop loss and a target?
See, in the very, very short term, as the query is, in the short term, I'll be expecting the stock to, be a little negative on the negative side. It has started making lower top, low bottom, trading below 20-40 daily moving average. I'll be expecting the stock to go down till 180, which is the 200 daily exponential moving average. So at this point of time, if you're trying to, get into the stock, wait for some time, let the correction complete, and then revisit it around the 200 daily exponential moving average, and then take a bigger view. At this point of time, avoid is my call.
Okay, the next one is on SPR Auto Tech. It's for you, Mr. Agarwal. Astha Sabharwal wants to know, she's already holding few shares, bought at a price of 4,660, currently sitting on a loss. Should she continue to hold or exit?
I think we recently had a QIP in this counter. The company is doing well. And I think one should hold on with a medium-term view. In fact, just a disclaimer, we also hold that in our fund as well. So that's a disclaimer I would like to put to the audience. But at the same time, I think we just had a QIP. We were a good participant in the QIP which happened. And QIP happened with a shade lower price. But the company looks intact for a good growth, and it's a very good hold for a medium to long run.
Got it. Viewers, you can also give us a call for a stock-related query as well. The next one coming through with this one's from Murli. He wants to know about Philatex India, holding shares at 42, Radharaman. Stock's trading close to 79 now, so he's sitting on some good gains. Should he continue to hold?
I think he can exit the stock and maybe look for other options as well. He can maybe look if it's right.
And is this led by valuations or the sharp run-up in a shorter span? What's the rationale?
The rationale is more in terms of the run-up has been very, very sharp. So I think maybe an opportunity would get lower.
Okay. The next query is on Leap India, again a recently listed company. Harsha from Andhra Pradesh is holding 250 shares, bought at a price of 160. Should he add more for long term? Mr. Agarwal, any view?
I think he can add on. The business model is quite robust, and in long run to medium term, that should do well. But it will be a longer gestation in these counters.
Got it. The next one, and this one's also from Chandrasekhar, who's from Bengaluru, about G&G Electronics. He actually wants to make a fresh entry here, Radharaman, and we've seen stocks, I think, up almost 6-7% today. And this year, in the past year, it's up already 83%. Despite this run-up, Radharaman, would you still advise buying, or would you wait for some pullback? And that would be the advice for now.
I think the run-up has been quite sharp. In fact, today also is up. So my suggestion would be to maybe hold on and maybe wait for some correction to enter, not at the current levels.
Got it. The next question coming through, and we actually have a couple of questions on fee.
Today also is up. So my suggestion would be to
wants to buy this counter. Is this a good level? And I'll also come to Radharaman. But Saumil, start us off with on the technicals as well. It's had some pullback. On FM Industries, what's your view?
I think in the very short term, my view is negative. In the medium term as well, it is trading below 20, 40, 200 daily moving average. So I'll be a little negative here. The downside would be till at least, I think, 1970, 1980, which is the lower end of the Bollinger Band. So at this point of time, avoid is my call for short to medium term. Overall, the trend is positive. So we'll wait for a basing out pattern and then enter the stock. But at this point of time, avoid.
Any view, Radharaman, on FEM Industries? Because we've seen, of course, the auto ancillary pack do very well. This one hasn't seen too much run up, at least comparatively to the other players. So is it a good time to add?
I don't think so. We should add now. There are enough good other players available in that auto and space. So I would suggest maybe looking at other options right now.
Okay, got it. The next one, and this one's from Bala from Coimbatore, wants to know about Federal Bank and if it's the right time to enter for the next 1 year. Again, Radharaman, we've seen a good run up on this counter, had some news flow regarding Jana as well, if that could be. And about Federal Bank and if it's the right time to enter for the next 1 year. Again, Radharaman, we've seen a good run up on this counter, had some news flow regarding Jana as well, if that could be an acquisition candidate for Federal. How are you looking at Federal now?
The Federal looks good. Maybe there might be a short-term pullback and all that, but I think the bank is doing quite well, and it's a good time to maybe look at additions in the counter.
Next query is on SBI funds. Sanjay from Thane wants to know whether is it a right time to buy this counter for the next 3 years or should he wait for further downside? Mr. Agarwal, any view on SBI fund?
I think SBI fund is the leader of the pack, and my suggestion would be that maybe you can add and maybe slowly buy in tranches. And 3 years is a good horizon. It's a medium-term horizon, and the stock should do well in that period.
Got it. The next question coming through, and this one's on Shyam Metallics. Our viewer holding shares at 605. This is Chandan Jain from Karnataka. He is a regular viewer of the show. And your stock's doing well, up almost at 1100 now. Saumil, his question being if it's a good time to book out his profits, would you recommend that?
See, I'll hold on to it, to be very frank, because I'll be expecting more upside for Shyam Metallics. It is trading around 1100. If the caller has invested for short term, definitely book some profits. Good run up from 980 to 1090. But I'll be expecting the stock to go till at least 1200 plus in the medium term. So I think hold on to it. Keep a stop loss around 1000 and hold on to it.
Right, the next query is from Sudhakar from Shambhaji Nagar. It's on Sagility. He's holding 150 shares of Sagility, bought at a price of 43. Wants to know whether it's a good time to add more. Saumil, any view on this?
Absolutely, add more. Keep a stop loss around 41. My targets are around 54. We have a report on this very recently. I'll be expecting the stock. It has broken out of a basing out pattern, high top, high bottom formation on the higher degree time frame. Great stock to be in. You can add more with a stop loss around 41.
Got it. So can add around 41. Okay, I got that view. The next question is from Vignesh, actually on Natco. Saumil, I'll stick with you on this one. He wants to enter this counter right now. Would you recommend that?
Natco Pharma, you talking about?
Yes,
right?
yes.
Natco. I'm not. There are a lot of other stocks which are doing really good on the pharma space. I would not stick to this stock because it's been the downtrend for a little while. Not doing much. It has been there around 1000 levels for a very long time now. There are good stocks like probably hospital stocks or Davis Lab. Davis Lab is doing good. Cipla is doing good as well. You can choose large cap stocks as well. So I think Natco Pharma is not in my list and I would suggest to exit.
Next query is on HDFC Bank. Anirban Roy wants to know whether it's the right time to buy HDFC Bank from long-term perspective. Mr. Agarwal, any view on this?
I think among the private sector banks, HDFC Bank has been a bit laggard. So my suggestion would be maybe in a combination of an HDFC and ICICI one should look at rather than only looking at HDFC. So ICICI will perform better in terms of the banking space.
Got it. Well, let's now start the rapid fire round in this edition of the show. Saumil as well as Radharaman, you know the drill. The first question is from Ravi from Mumbai. He wants to know if it's a good time to add NTPC for the next 2 years. If not, what's a preferred power pick according to you, Radharaman?
NTPC can be added, but a good power pick can be Tata Power.
The next query is on TCS. It's for you, Somil. Ajay from Dubai has bought around 147 shares at a price of 3,944. Currently sitting on a loss of 41%. Should he continue to hold or exit?
No, absolutely hold on to it. I'll be expecting a medium-term uptrend to start now.
Radharaman, just a follow-up on Tata Power, because we've seen that litigation happen, stock was down. Despite that, would you add it right now?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, got it. The next question is from Mr. Bhupati from Vishakhapatnam on HBL Engineering. He wants to enter for the long term here. Would you recommend that, Radharaman?
One could look at for long run, yeah.
The next query is on Intellect Design. It's for you, Somil. Jigar from Mumbai is holding Intellect Design, currently sitting on a loss of 10%. Should he continue to hold this counter or exit?
Absolutely hold on to it.
Muthoot Finance as well as Shriram Finance, both held by Khurshid from Delhi. He wants to know, Radharaman, if he can deploy more capital in both or in either.
I think Shriram Finance would be a better bet.
The next query is on Bharat Coking Coal. Murthy from Thane is holding 800 shares, bought at a price of 45. Should he average or exit? Mr. Agarwal, any view?
He should hold on. He should not average.
Tejas Seth asking us the next question on Oswal Pumps. He's holding shares at 404. It's been a rank underperformer here, Radharaman. He's asking if he should still continue to have his holdings or average down?
He can average it at the current levels.
The next query is on Wockhardt. It's for you, Somil. Astha is holding few shares, bought at a price of 1,570. Should she hold or sell?
Wockhardt Pharma, definitely hold on. I'll be expecting a very good rally on the upside.
Next one is SJS Enterprises from Ishwar, who's from Kolkata. He wants to buy this counter for the long term, but asking because there's been a very big run up already here. Would you recommend that Radharaman still at this price?
Yes, definitely. I think the growth prospects is quite good.
The next query is on Newland Labs. Ramesh from Bangalore has purchased few shares. Should he continue to hold or exit? Somil, any view?
Absolutely hold on to it.
Physics Wala bought at 123 by our viewer Srijit. He wants to know about a long-term view here, Radharaman.
So I am negative on the stock here. So
the next query is on Aisha Motors and it's for you, Mr. Agarwal. Sumit from Delhi has bought fresh shares of Aisha Motors. Can he continue to hold this counter for more than 1 year?
Yeah, definitely. I think he should hold on the counter.
VA Tech Vabak bought at 1,547 by a viewer. He's in good gains right now. Radharaman, should he continue to ride that wave?
I think he should hold on and then continue.
The next query is on REC. It's for you, Somil. Sumana from Dubai is currently holding 490 shares, bought at a price of 415. Should she hold the counter for the next 3 months? Any target stop loss that you could recommend?
Hold on to the stock. It has given a very sharp sell-off. Keep a stop loss around 300. My target in the short term, medium term is around 350 probably. But if you have traded for short term, exit.
A long-term view on BSE at the current price, Radharaman, is the question from Suresh. Can he buy?
Definitely one should add on with the current levels.
The next query is on Belrise Industries. It's for you, Somil. Vishwanath Reddy from Andhra Pradesh wants to know, can he buy Belrise at the current market price?
Yes, definitely. Keep a very strict stop loss around 215 and buy.
Power Mech as well, Somil, a quick view if it's the right time to enter for the next 6 months to a year is what Ahmad is asking.
I would avoid entering at this point of time. So yeah, if you have the position, hold on.
Got it. Well, that was the last question of the rapid fire. Somil, we'll let you go on that note. Thanks as always for joining in and giving us your views. Radharaman, stay on. A lot more stock-related queries on the other side after this very short break.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो बंटवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अंबा शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रेनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार। Amba Shakti SDTMT.
When outcomes matter, you trust accuracy and precision every time. Because cricket ho ya medical care, trust is earned with consistency. Welcome to Lord's Med. Empowering health, touching lives. Accuracy that shows up when it counts the most. State-of-the-art innovation, made in India. Or trust, puri duniya ka. When it comes to medical care, choose Lord's Universe. Precision with care.
Lord's Mark Industries, हमेशा आपके साथ.
Let's build a staggered deployment approach and balance things out between aggressive and safe bets.
Ionic Wealth is your co-founder in your journey of wealth creation.
Let him get a second opinion first.
Sounds good. Ionic Wealth is putting the power of institutional grade AI in your pocket so you can get your second opinion first.
इस शेयर मार्केट में हाथ में हो कोई भी फोन, यहाँ है सबका इक्वल हक, क्योंकि आप जो भी हो,
जहाँ से भी हो, जैसे भी हो,
ये मान सबका है बॉस। तो SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो या IPO, डाउनलोड ग्रो।
प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
एक कूलिंग टॉवल है, ये पोजीशन है एज अ हीट प्रोटेक्टिव गियर। आई कैन फील द कूलिंग। यू हैव अ कपल ऑफ
तो SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो या IPO, डाउनलोड ग्रो।
Lakh workmen working at different sites in very harsh conditions, and I'm more than happy to get your product to all of you. This is such a moment for him. हमने ये बनाया adaptive, wheelchair bound people के लिए independent mobility है।
इस तरीके से he is going to be the hero for many people.
Don't look at the disability, look at the magic of the ability that they have.
New rules of engagement. Ambitions crossing borders. Voices refusing to wait their turn. India is chasing gears. Faster, bolder, more restless. It doesn't stop. Neither do we. NDTV, when it really matters.
The news, Ayush. Since when do we do scripts? Fair point. Picture this. The biggest stage. Floodlights. Wow. 4K, the works. Where's the hook? There's going to be celebrities and guaranteed eyeballs. Where's the hook? Think about this. Front page advertisements and hoardings.
Bro, where's the hook?
Cross-platform, digital first, virality.
Without a hook, no way. The message is clear. It's 2026. You gotta be real in a world of reels. You gotta be original in a world where everything seems generated.
That's it. That's what we're looking for.
The best campaigns,
The hottest trends.
the smartest brand moves on our new show.
But wait, what do we call it?
The hook.
They say morning shows the day. Markets often have other plans. By midday, the story can be very different. That's when the right insights helps you rethink the day. Trades, trends, the moves that matter. Join me, Nisha Poddar, for Markets at 12, your edge for every move.
When the headlines move fast, perspective matters. On Editor's Cut, our editors come together with experts to distill the week's information blitz into clear perspective. Down the stories shaping the world, from markets and the economy to global conflicts and what lies ahead. This is where experience meets insight. No noise, no hype, just sharp takes on what to watch next. Editor's Cut, every Friday.
Welcome back. You're still watching Ask Profit right here on NDTV Profit. We still have Rajaram Agarwal on the fundamentals. Let me now welcome in Raja Venkatraman. He is the co-founder at Neo Trader, now joining in the technicals. Raja, very good morning and thank you for joining in today. The first question coming through, and this one's on between Welspun Corp or APL Apollo, which is a better investment to do, is what Dilip is asking at the current price. Raja, what would be your opinion?
Yeah, when you take a look at Welspun Corp and APL Apollo, both of them have been doing well. But then Welspun Corp, majorly due to the block deals that have been happening, we have been seeing the steady follow through to the upside. Now, what we need to see is that when the promoter offloads the quantity which has been mentioned, we can see that there could be some bit of profit booking. So overall, on the higher time frames, Welspun Corp looks to be a much stronger bet because the momentum is very strongly to the upside. And once the profit booking emerges, I would say a support levels around 1650 would be a good area to get into. So I would put more weightage on Welspun Corp.
The next query is from Shravan. He wants to sell 200 shares of Heritage Foods and buy Parag Milk. Should he do that? Mr. Agarwal, your view on this?
I think he can do that, yeah. So he can maybe exiting Heritage and then getting into Parag.
And this whole, dairy space continues to be in focus. We, of course, had the listing of Milky Mist, but the value-added product play yet again coming through in focus for all of these products. But let's, go across to our next caller now, Jigar, who's from Amchi, Mumbai itself, dialing in now. Jigar, a very good morning. What's your query? Hi, Jigar. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Jigar, go ahead with your query.
Yeah, hi. So, is it Puneet?
Yes, yes, Jigar.
Yeah,
You're talking to Puneet.
great.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Very difficult to get through to you guys.
We've not had actually too many callers. I thought that, it's Raksha Bandhan, people might be celebrating, but glad, Jigar, that you could get through today.
No, 15 calls I tried. I was about to give up.
Well, I appreciate you trying for the first 14 times and glad that we could reach you, Jigar. What's your query?
Thank you. I have 500 shares of NMDC at about $70.
Okay.
I missed selling it at 96 because I was waiting for 102, 103 targets.
Okay.
It's a technical view that I had. So is it now worth selling it here, still making some bit of profit? Or should I still wait for around 3-6 months? Not more than that.
Okay, got it. So 3 to 6 months. So let me go across to Raja then, because he'd be better of answering that short-term question. Raja, on NMDC, Jigar missed out, but is it still a good time for him to continue holding, wait for a better price on NMDC?
Yeah, NMDC is definitely, metals are once again in the limelight. But when you take a look at the prices where it is trading near the 2024 highs. So one should be really careful here because if there is some profit booking, if the overall scenario in the global markets were to slip, then 81 could be a good risk point which you can consider as part of your investment. Otherwise, if things stabilize and if there were an up move, then it could actually take out the new high, which will invite more buying participation.
Right. The next query is on Genesis. The viewer Baba Saab from Karnataka is holding 1600 shares, bought at a price of 244. Should he continue to hold this counter for the next 4 weeks? Any view on this one? Raja?
Vatak Baba, right? I didn't get the audio.
Genesis International.
Genesis has been doing well, and when you take a look at the sectoral play, you can see that the stock momentum is, has gone through a torrid phase. But then over the last few months, there has been some bit of recovery, which I'm seeing right now. So I would say that there are a good set of supports which have emerged closer towards the 170 mark, and the prices have rebounded from there. So yes, one can continue to hold, and if one has the capital, because it has come to good set of supports, can also look to add into at the current juncture.
Got it. Well, let's go across to Pune now. Aniket dialing in for a stock query. Aniket, good morning. What's the query?
Hello. Good morning, sir. Good morning to panel. Actually, I have 15 shares of Ambuja Cement.
Okay.
I had a few more, but at the price of 529, and I had book profits at 600. So now I am currently holding only 15. But from that I forgot, and now it has fallen a lot. So should I hold, exit, or now it is good time to add a few more for long term, or buy another stock in this category, which looks good?
Got it. Well, Radharaman, on Ambuja Cements, what's your view for Aniket?
cement. Overall, the cement pack has started giving reversal signs, and maybe things are not good in the first half, but second half looks very bright. So I think he can average it out and maybe add certain things at Ambuja at the current levels for medium to long term perspective.
Got it. So second half definitely looks promising. But viewers, of course, standard disclaimer: the channel that you're watching currently is part of the AMG Media Networks, and so was, of course, Ambuja Cement part of the larger group as well. That's a standard disclaimer that we're putting out. The next question coming through. This one's from Shankar, who's from Bengaluru, on Sterling and Wilson Solar. He's a regular viewer holding shares at 229. Wants to know if he can average at this current price or wait for that 229 to come back. Raja, how do you look at it?
The overall the solar industry and the renewable industry has been going through a share of phases. But then when you take a look at the current movement in SW Solar, Sterling and Wilson, we can see that the stock has been in a declining mode over the last several months. Now, in the last 2 to 3 months, because of some renewed interest in the EV space, we are seeing some bit of upward trajectory here. And I would say that this is signs of recovery, so one should continue to hold on.
Next query is on ITC. Right, it's on ITC. Lavanya from Bangalore is holding 1200 shares, bought at a price of 296. Should she hold or average for the next 6 months? Any view on this, Raja?
I would say that ITC has been trying its luck for almost more than 2 years, but the stock has not been really able to make the cut. And with the entire consumption basket not been able to pull its weight over the last several months, I would say that amongst them, ITC has been the weakest. So ITC should not be considered as a investment bet. And I would say that if below 260, then it could attract more selling interest. So overall, ITC is not a good stock to be in.
Got it. So definitely an underperformer according to Raja on this counter. Let's go across to the next one. This one's on Okla, India. Satyan, who's from Palakkad, actually asking us this question. He's been holding on for some time now since the IPO. Wants to know a 3-year view on this counter, and what would be your opinion here, Radharaman? Because, not that direct FMCG play, slightly underperforming as well, but is it still a good buy?
So I think you can look for other options in this sector rather than looking at this particular company. So maybe a direct FMCG place could have been a better bet right now.
Right, the next query is on Okla, India. Satyan from Palakkad. Okay, that's one been done. The next one is on Shriram Properties of Purvankar. The viewer wants to know which stock is better to enter at this point of time. Shriram Properties of Purvankara. Raja, any view on charts on this?
Yeah, I would say that both the stocks from this sector are underperforming, and I would say that both are best avoided.
Both are best avoided. Got a long-term view is what Prajwal is asking on Lemon Tree Hotels. He's holding shares at 140. And he's holding 900 shares here. Stocks at 107 now, so he's currently in a loss. Should he average down here? How do you look at it, Radharaman? We of course have a corporate action also of the entities. So what's your view?
I think he can hold on, maybe do averaging also the current levels. Well, the buying price is high, and I think the stock is available at good price right now. So he can average and then take it forward.
Okay, the next one is on JSW Cement. Asma from Bangalore is holding 100 shares, bought at a price of 154. Should she add more? Look at any other counter for short term. Raja, any view on JSW Cement?
Yeah, the cement sector always goes through a lull phase, especially during the rainy season, and that's what we have been seeing amongst all the cement names, which are especially entrenched in cement, not like stocks like Grasim. And we can see here that JSW Cement also has been consolidating over the last few days. Yes, there are signs of recovery, which I'm seeing right now. But then if I were to get into the resistance level would be closer towards 130.
Got it. The next one is on MCX. Our viewer Rajesh actually holding shares at 2,200. So he's sitting on very good gains right now, actually. Wants to know the long-term view. Should he exit or accumulate is the question here from him, Radharaman. What's your take on MCX?
MCX is a good stock to hold on. He should not be exiting, and I think holding on for a medium to long run.
And still, in terms of a buy, is this still advisable even at the current rate?
maybe not buying at the current levels, but maybe holding on the current pricing. Maybe once it gets correct.
Got it. The next one, and this is a caller query from Andhra Pradesh. Kumar dialing in for a stock query. Kumar, what's your query? Very good morning. Hi Kumar, can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, Kumar. Go ahead.
Yeah. I bought Bajaj Finance around 10 shares at 975.
Okay.
So can I hold or add?
And this is a long-term bet, Kumar?
Yes, long-term.
Long-term bet. Got it. What's your advice on Bajaj Finance, Radharaman?
I think he can add further the current levels also.
Okay.
Right. The next query is coming in on NCC. Kavya from Hyderabad has bought around 3,000 shares at a price of 255. What's the outlook? Currently sitting on a loss. Should she continue to hold this counter, Mr. Agarwal?
So you continue to hold, but I will not advise any further fresh buying.
Got it. The next one coming through, and this question, it's on Forging or MTAR Tech. Both from different segments, of course, but our viewer wants to know if it's, and this is Shujana from Chennai, wants to know if it's the right time to buy. Raja, on MTAR Tech, actually, we've seen, multiple moves come through and revival yet again, very volatile. But what's your advice on actually both of those counters, either of them or both of them that you like?
Yeah, Forging definitely is looking very interesting, and one should consider getting into Forging rather than an MTAR Tech, because MTAR Tech has had its fair share of run, and the sterling run which we have seen over the last few months have been quite prolific. So now at this juncture, profit booking is bound to occur. So if you want to get into MTAR Tech, the level will be closer towards the 6,000, where there are some decent set of supports. Otherwise, between both of them, Forging is a better one.
Okay. The next one is from Sanjeev Jain from Rajasthan. He wants to invest 5 lakh rupees in Misho, Grow and Honasa for long term. Mr. Agarwal, what's your view on this? Should he do that?
I think you can look at Grow as among the picks, what we're mentioning.
The next question coming through, and this one's on from Arun Kumar. He's from Karnataka and wants to know about Premier Energies. He's bought shares at roughly 1050. So asking for a very short-term view here, Raja, on this counter. How are you looking at it?
Yeah, like we spoke earlier, the EV space is definitely looking interesting, and anything connected with the EV space, this company is into the semiconductors. And we can see that the stock is consolidating at the moment. There is some bit of profit booking here. So I would wait for a recovery, and that recovery level would be the resistance zones around 1040 to 50. After that only, I would be looking at entering into the stock.
Next query is on Tata Tele. Shubhodam is holding around 250 shares, bought at a price of 80. Should he hold or sell? Raja, any view on this, Tata Teleservices?
Tata Teleservices is a very range-bound stock. So, if you're continuing to hold on, yes, you can hold. There are signs of recovery visible, but then I would not advocate adding any further capital at this juncture.
Correct. The next question coming through, and viewers, we are going through thick and fast on the show with your stock related queries. So if you haven't already, the last stretch now for you to send your queries on. Next one's on Maruti Suzuki. Our viewer holding shares at 13,500, and he wants to know, and this is Bharat, if he should wait on or sell the stock now. What's a long-term view that you have, Radharaman, of the space as well? Because we're now starting to see consolidation. M&M also in that range, so is Maruti. The numbers for the monthly sales have been quite strong. How are you looking at this space now?
I look at the space being very promising. I think even the first 4 months, what numbers have come out have been very, very positive. And Maruti leads the pack to that extent. So I think we should look for a long term very clearly in terms of investment in Maruti.
Got it. The next question, this one's on an interesting one from Sriram Raghuraman. He's a regular viewer of the show. Holding IndusInd Bank at 629. Now, I don't know if he bought it on the way up or on the way down, but he's still sitting on some good gains right now. Asking if for the long term he should still continue to hold. We've seen, of course, a big management change come through, that big derivative issue also behind. But Radharaman, how are you looking at this one, especially compared to its to the financial players in the private banking space? Should he book out, probably enter either of those, or should he continue to hold?
So I think he can maybe take a switch and book the profits here and then move into an access on ICICI. That's a better suggestion from our side.
Okay. The next one is on Godrej Consumer. The viewer hasn't mentioned his name, but he's holding around 6,000 shares, bought at a price of 910. What's the short-term view on this, Raja?
Yeah, Godrej Consumers seems to be under pressure, and we have been discussing about the consumer space under stress, and there is another stock that continues to face some headwinds. And I would say that it's not the right time to enter, but if the holding is there, then the risk level would be at around closer towards 945 to 965. So that's a very important zone the prices have to hold.
Got it. I've seen a management change there as well, and hence the stock tanked actually on that day and hasn't moved either way from that level of 900 odd. But Padma from Bengaluru, and this is another stock that's not done well for investors. That's Havels. She's holding shares at 1270, and again wants to know a medium to a long-term view here. What's your view, Radharaman? Because we've seen that, for the last, I think, 5 years, the stock stuck in this range, almost absolute no returns. Should she bite the bullet, exit the counter, buy something else?
I think she can hold on. The stock seems okay in terms of now, so maybe she can hold on for some time more.
Queries from Ishwar from Kolkata. He wants to buy a stock from the CRDMO space. What would be your top pick here, Mr. Agarwal, for long term?
Which one you are saying? Which space?
CRDMO. Contract research development, pharma space.
So we would not like to recommend in that space. We would like to maybe look at more on the hospital side. Okay. That's a sector we like more. So that's the reason I was not recommending a stock there. So we like larger hospitals to that extent in terms of entering at the current levels.
Got it. The next question is on Transray Lighting. Rajiv, who's from Delhi, he's also a senior citizen, wants to know about a shorter 3-month view on this counter. How are you looking at this one, Raja? Again, a very perplexing one where stock doesn't move. It's been getting a lot of orders, but any view on the charts for this counter?
No, actually, despite some decent set of numbers, the stock has been unable to show some traction. So, which clearly says that there is not much of buying coming through, and actually there are some exits that are being happening. So, I would say that at the current juncture, 440 level holds a very important significance for the days ahead. So, below that, the stock would attract more selling.
The next query is from Suresh Khanna from Bangalore. He is holding few shares, 1,000 shares of Yes Bank since 1 year. Should he continue to hold this counter or exit? Mr. Agarwal, your view on this?
I think he continue to hold this counter. There are promising developments happening on the corporate side. So I think he should hold on.
Got it. The next one coming through, this one's on Acme Solar. Usha, who's from Bengaluru, holding shares at almost 390. Wants to know a short-term view yet again on this one. Raja has seen a good move this year, but is it still advisable to hold or book out?
Yeah, Acme Solar has been doing well, and there is no reason to book out. The stock is continuing to show a good performance on month-on basis. So I would say one can look to hold this stock.
Queries from Vijay Kirti from Chennai. He wants to know whether is it a right time to enter travel and food services. Raja, any view on this? TFS?
No, nothing in particular, because the stock has been quite sustained move over the last few months. So I would say that one should move on to some other trading bet or investing bet.
Got it. The next question coming through, this one is from Prashant, who's a regular viewer of the show on Suzlon, bought at 52.3, holding 2,700 shares, and wants to know the long-term view. Again, this one also, Radharaman, we've seen some moves, but I think the quarterly result wasn't that impressive, and hence stock has been in this range for a while now. What's your view for the long term?
So I'm not very bullish on the stock for a medium to long term. So maybe you can book losses and move to some other counter.
Correct. Well, let's now start, the rapid fire round in this edition of the show. Raja as well as Radharaman, you both know the drill. The first question's on Vedanta Power. Subodh holding shares at 38. He wants to know what's a view here on this counter, Radharaman. How are you looking at it?
You can just hold on, not to add at this level.
The next query is on Vedanta Power. It's for you, Raja.
Vedanta is done.
We are done with that. The next one is on Cupid. It's for you, Raja. Abdul from Kerala wants to know the short-term view. Any target or stop loss that you could suggest?
Yeah, Cupid is on a, you can say it's on steroids because the way it's moving, it's quite. So I would say that there is no target in particular, but then the risk, what you can keep it is closer towards 230 to 240. That would be your risk point as far as this trade is concerned.
Most certainly, counter continues to have an up move. But Namit from Munich holding on to IDFC first, and thanks for joining in, Namit. He's holding shares at 67. Wants to know if he can sell out of this particular counter. Radharaman, how do you look at it? He wants to buy into Grow. I think you've given that view. But would you recommend selling IDFC first here, Radharaman?
Yeah, if you're looking to buy Grow, maybe you can look at exit here and then look at Grow.
Got it.
The next query is on Syngene International. It's for you, Mr. Agarwal. Suresh from Indonesia wants to know whether it's a good time to enter for the next 1 to 2 years.
I don't think so. One should enter here in this for a medium term.
Latent view is the other one. A long-term view is what Rajesh is asking from Mumbai. Any view here, Radharaman?
I think yes, you can look for a long term.
The next query is on HG Infra. Is for you, Mr. Raja. The viewer is Shashidhara is holding around 100 shares, bought at a price of 720. Should she continue to hold or exit?
Yeah, one can look to hold on to this because the overall momentum is positive.
Got it. The next question is coming through. Actually, we've taken this one, so let me add another one. From Lavanya from Bengaluru on HDFC. What's a quick view here on the technicals, Raja?
Yeah, HDFC continues to be in some sort of pain point. I would say that with the stocks hitting lows, I would say that it's better to exit and move into some other counter.
The next query is on latent view. It's for you, Mr. Agarwal. Rajesh from Mumbai wants to know the long-term view on this counter.
Yeah, we can hold on. Yeah, we can add.
Next one's on ICICI Pro AMC, bought at 3292. Is it a good bet for the next 5 years, Radharaman? Is the question from Sunil.
Yeah, definitely yes.
The next is on Reliance Industries. It's for you, Mr. Raja. The viewer is holding 400 shares. Should he continue to hold or exit?
Yeah, you can continue to hold, but do not add further investment into Reliance.
Srinivasan holding on to Jamna Auto at 126. He wants to know if he should accumulate more at this price, Radharaman.
Yes, he can add.
The next query is on Ircon. Siva from Amravati is holding 528 shares at a price of 340. Mr. Raja, should he continue to hold or exit?
He can continue to hold.
Kantibai holding on to SBI at 1079, Radharaman. Should he continue to hold?
Yes.
The next query is on Infosys. It's for you, Mr. Raja. Sudeshna from Kolkata is holding 875 shares. Should she add more shares at current levels or continue to hold what she has?
Just continue to hold.
Garima holding Brigade Enterprise at 650. Wants to know a short-term view here, Raja.
Yeah, Brigade is on the positive side. More upward trajectory is possible.
Next query is on Orchid Pharma. It's for you, Mr. Agarwal. Shravan from Dubai is holding 70 shares of Orchid Pharma, bought at a price of 1040. Should he continue to hold this counter or exit?
Hold the counter.
Lalita Jewelry, a very recent listing. I don't know, Radharaman, if you have a view. A viewer bought shares at 201, the IPO price. Any view?
There's a positive view on the counter.
Got it. Well, that was the last question of the rapid fire as well as this edition of the show. We've done almost 85 queries. So Radharaman, thanks so much for staying on for the last hour and helping us solve these queries. Raja as well, very prompt in the last half an hour for helping us solve these questions as well. But viewers, out of time on this edition of the show. Thanks so much for watching in. Stay tuned though, a lot more action on the other side, and we'll be back with a lot more stock related queries at 2 p.m.
आसमान जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया आसमान जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अंबा शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रेनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार। अंबा शक्ति SDTMT।
When outcomes matter, you trust accuracy and precision every time. Because cricket ho ya medical care, trust is earned with consistency. Welcome to Lord's Med. Empowering health, touching lives. Accuracy that shows up when it counts the most. State-of-the-art innovation, made in India. Or trust, puri duniya ka. When it comes to medical care, choose Lord's Universe. Precision with care.
Lord's Mark Industries, हमेशा आपके साथ.
Factoring in LRS, the route, and the currency hedge, here's your best move.
Ionic Wealth is your co-founder in your journey of wealth creation.
What's the rush? Let them get a second opinion first.
Yeah, this works.
Ionic Wealth is putting the power of institutional grade AI in your pocket, so you can get your second opinion first.
इस शेयर मार्केट में हाथ में हो कोई भी फोन, यहाँ है सबका इक्वल हक, क्योंकि आप जो भी हो,
जहाँ से भी हो, जैसे भी हो,
ये मान तो SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो या IPO, डाउनलोड ग्रो।
प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
एक कूलिंग टॉवल है, ये पोजीशन एज द हीट प्रोटेक्टिव गियर। I can feel the cooling. We have a couple of lakh workmen working at different sites in very harsh conditions, and I'm more than happy to get your product to all of them.
This is such a moment for him.
हमने ये बनाया एडेप्टिव, व्हीलचेयर बाउंड पीपल के लिए इंडिपेंडेंट मोबिलिटी है।
इस तरीके से he is going to be the hero for many people.
Don't look at the disability, look at the magic of the ability that they have.
3 decades of watching the world change. Of asking the questions that couldn't wait. Of telling the stories that couldn't be ignored. Of holding the line when it mattered most. Times change, our purpose doesn't. NDTV 24/7 is now NDTV when it really matters.
Arunesh Chawla, the DPAM Secretary, speaking exclusively with us on NDTV Profit. How do you see the momentum from here, and what's your reading on the expectations around the Hindustan Copper OFS?
This is in line with Prime Minister's vision of sharing the national wealth with ordinary investors, minority stakeholders and citizens of India. Hindustan Copper, has good futuristic investment plans. And if you see the market analysts and the feedback, this is a stock which is forecast to go upward.
80,000 crores, Mr. Chawla, is the target. You've already hit 52,000 crores in FY27. Do you expect to comfortably exceed this target?
I would say we are working hard and will achieve the target.
What is the dividend picture looking like for CPSEs?
Dividends, we have a plan, but you will see that plan becoming active in the second half, which is when the dividends come in.
The news, Ayush. Since when do we do scripts? Fair point. Picture this. The biggest stage. Floodlights. 4K, the works. Where's the hook? There's going to be celebrities and guaranteed eyeballs. Where's the hook? Think about this. Front page advertisements and hoardings.
Bro, where's the hook?
Cross-platform, digital first, virality.
Without a hook, no way.
Hello and welcome to KYC. You're watching NDTV Profit with me, Sharad Dubey. This is the show where we get you interesting companies, recently listed companies, and also companies with the story and also a chance to make alpha for you and for your portfolio. But today there's a very interesting company I've got for you. It's of course recently listed company. Try to guess it. It's one of the largest private IPP players in India. Also, I'd like to give you one interesting hint. It's backed by Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. Stock was recently listed actually in this month itself, August 6th. And the stock has done fairly well. It's up 13% from its IPO price as well. Of course, it's an energy related stock I'm talking about, and the company in focus is Juniper Green Energy. This is the company which we are talking about, but the question remains is, why are we calling this company? Of course, the company has come out with its numbers. We'll try to understand that. And the moat and industry positioning, how actually things work out, or is it just like any other player? Also, another key query we'll be understanding is what led to a strong Q1, and will this actually sustain, because the numbers are very strong here. Also, the third queries would be the details of that 25-year power purchase agreement with SGVN and the margin guidance, at least on a consolidated basis. How does it look for the company? How does the company mitigate the risks for the industry? Because there's always a risk element attached to it. The BSS, Battery Energy Storage System, that is where we are seeing the outlook and the tendering projects as well. It's small, but Street is looking at that as well. Debt reduction plans and the target debt equity ratios. What is it? Because of these companies or this industry, the balance sheets are heavy. A lot of queries, the management will be answering all of them. But let's understand what the company actually does. Where is the alpha lying here? And the details about the company. It's NCR based IPP renewable energy power producer. Let's get into the details about it. They're focused on utility scale, solar, wind and hybrid projects. I'll give you the detailed breakup about it also, but let's understand what this company is and where in the industry is the company fitting. FDRE, as we call it, Firm Renewable Energy segment. So this is the dispatchable segment to talk about it, and this full form will come. The integrated capabilities come in, especially the entire project life cycle. So we'll try to understand the business model. First question from the management: long-term PPA with central and state government entities. So yes, there is stability in the revenue. Weighted average tariff is roughly 3 rupees 70 per unit, just keeping it very simple for you. And the total outstanding debt, this is a very important number, 13,000 plus crores coming in. Remember, the company has come out with its IPO, and maybe some proceeds were used to reduce the debt as well. Major revenue comes from 3 states, Maharashtra, Gujarat and Rajasthan. So that is what we are talking about. 23% of the project's portfolio is operational right now. That means the remaining portion, work needs to be done. But before you start your analysis and watch the KYC on Juniper Green Energy, understand the full forms, and it's nothing to panic. It's very easy. Gigawatt peak, that's a power unit. Also, we have these important power units which you always keep hearing when you judge or analyze a power company. This is very simple: power purchase agreement. Also, 2 important things: WSH will be coming in the investor presentation if you're analyzing. It's very simple. It's nothing but wind, solar, hybrid. That's the short form. And FDRE, firm and dispatchable renewable energy. There is an angle to BESS as well. But this is something you should be knowing when we talk about this company and with the management as well. But what's the capacity? The operational capacity is approximately 2.5 gigawatt peak and 500 megawatt for BSS. Going ahead, the total portfolio is of course on the higher side as well. But from the capacities, the new order wins is something which caught my eye. This is the most important one: 25-year-old PPA with SGVN. The rate is at 4.25 rupees per unit. Next order win is SECI. This is a wind order of 870 megawatt and also a BSS order coming in. So orders wins is something which the company has been announcing post June 30th as well. And GUVNL wind tender also award has come in at roughly 3.5 rupees per unit. So this has been the recent order wins coming in from the company. But how does the portfolio mix actually stack up? And I've taken the technology part. Solar is largely, you could say, coming in at around 13% Wind is on the lower side. Hybrid and your FDRE segment, that is where we are seeing much bigger action happening. So these are the 2 segments you should be tracking when it comes to the larger portfolio. Also, there are some industry triggers which you should be talking about. India's peak demand is expected to cross 340 gigawatt by FY31. So you can imagine so much of power sector and power ancillary segment is supposed to go up. The expected solar capacity addition would be roughly 52 gigawatts by FY31. So important industry triggers are definitely there, but I've done some detailed analysis on this newly listed company. Strong Q1 operational numbers, especially on the capacity addition, and that's where I'm going to give you the operational parameters, but you need to stay with me. It's going to come in some time. Second important reason what may work is the receivable outstanding days are reducing. This is really important for a company in this industry. 98% of their portfolio is secured via long-term PPS. Typically, this is around 20 to 25 years. That means the revenue visibility is there, so is the stability. Strong competitive bidding win rate, and that is where the conversions are good, and this is a very important operational feature for the company. Another good reason is the strategic diversification in both hybrid BSS solutions as well, and currently right now this is what giving the premium to most of the listings, IPOs and even listed players as well. But what may not work? Higher valuations versus peers. A little bit of analysis we have done. It's quite early. IPO pricing might have been a bit expensive, and when a new company comes, there's of course lack of analyst coverage, and that is why we feature these companies very early in KYC only for you. Execution risk is definitely there. This is the entire industry specific risk. Higher working capital requirement would be there, and at times payment delays also happen because the exposure is, in a concentrated manner, especially on the off-takers and the supplier base as well. So that is where the concern lies for the counter. But let's understand what the company is all about, and because of that we are going to get the KYC ratings for you. Remember, the company has been recently listed this month itself, so a lot of data would be coming post the Q1 numbers, and we have taken from the RHP as well. We have income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, but today we are taking operational parameters. And remember, whenever an IPO comes, the return ratios also get in stress because the capital base expands. So it's not fair to judge a company a lot of times on a case-to-case basis, at least on the return ratios. Coming back, shareholding street cred, take it with a pinch of salt. It's just 1 month for the IPO. Valuations we'll compare and get you all the peers. Which are the peers for this company and the outlook as well. What are the key numbers you should be watching out for? Remember, these type of companies have long-term vision, but short-term issues on the execution risk and payment always remains in this industry. But let's start income statement, how things have happened. Q1 numbers, we'll come to it, but the CAGR numbers are very strong. PAT numbers, it has been a little bit mixed, but the top line and the operational numbers have been very strong, and largely you should be looking at the EBITDA numbers when you judge a company of this sort. There are a lot of adjustments also. I'll simplify it for you. The margins is pretty good, and they have maintained that 95% margin mark also. So that shows a good momentum, in this counter. It's a stable company, to be honest, but is there any growth? That's the question to be asked. Q1 numbers have been really strong. Of course, the company has reported its highest EBITDA and revenue numbers as well. But let's talk about balance sheet. Balance sheet, a little bit of concern is there. Look at that amount. The expand company ज़्यादा करेगी, debt भी ज़्यादा लिया, roughly around 13,000 crore, and currently it's plus that. Now, what will be the debt reduction plan? And for a business like this, what is the debt equity ratio? What should be the optimal one? That's what we'll try to understand. But as of now, for this industry itself, I give a very neutral rating here because there's always going to be a need of large capital and even debt would be there. So it's a neutral rating for the balance sheet. But let's understand the cash flow. Companies expanding capacities. I mentioned to you earlier in the positive point that the working capital ratios are increasing, and when that happens, the cash flow goes up, and this is the number I'm talking about that has happened if you compare that with FY25 or even FY24. Interesting, right? For a company like this, the question is, when the cash flows will come, and the company has delivered it very strong. So I'm going to give this a strong thumbs up as well. But let's move on from the financials and talk about the operational parameters, how different it is. This is a capacity utilization factor. It's called CUF, and this is generation in terms of million units as well. These are the numbers. Largely, they have improved and done well. And so largely, I'm going to give this a strong thumbs up as well. The Q1 numbers, remember, good capacity addition was there, and that's what captured in a company like this. Shareholding, take it with a pinch of salt. There is, of course, Abu Dhabi Investment Authority invested in the company. 86% promoters are holding. That means they are going to be reducing their stake as per SEBI norms over the next 3 years by at least 11% here. But as of now, it's a neutral rating, nothing much to talk about here. Let's talk about street cred. It's just 1 month data. It hasn't been a very strong, massive IPO listing as other companies compared. A minor 8% listing gains. From IPO price, stock is up 13%. And since listing is 4%, the company hasn't done much here. After Q1 numbers, slight sell-off pressure was definitely there. But it's very even Stevens as of now as well. Market is slowly trying to absorb. A lot of institutions and viewers in the retail are watching the show. Maybe you'll get an idea where does the company stand. So right now, let's keep a neutral rating here. Valuations, well, I would say it's a neutral, but slightly towards the expensive side for Juniper Green Energy. Acme Solar, NTPC is there. These are the FY26 EV EBITDA multiple which I have taken. So it looks like fairly valued to its peer, but on the higher side. Also, compare that with Adani Green as well as API Green. It is slightly on the expensive side for both of them. So that's the concern coming in for the valuations, but take it with a pinch of salt. Let the earnings come and let other peers also perform. These are long gestation business models. We should not take decisions on just 1 month basis. Let's talk about the outlook. And outlook is also neutral. I'm going to keep it. The numbers are important. You can note it down or take a screenshot of this conversation. BSS installation is roughly 4,500 megawatt by June 2027 and 10,000 by March 2028. Also, a couple of numbers to track would be 14,000 acres are available for the under construction areas and the awarded projects. So there is a significant way already the company needs to do, and already the utilization factors are slightly lower. More than 200 locations are available for wind turbine installation, and I still say it's a very nascent industry right now. So you take things with a pinch of salt. It's a long gestation business model. For a long-term investor, it'll be much more interesting to understand or track this sector. But as of now, I'm going to give this a neutral rating, especially because of execution risk as well, which is involved, and we have seen that. But let's do a revision. The company has done really well in income statement, cash flow, and the operational numbers. The inherent nature is such that the balance sheet will always have debt in this kind of a model. Also, short-term period when it comes to the shareholding and street credits, I've kept a kind of a neutral rating here. Valuations also neutral as of now, but slightly on the higher side. Outlook, long-term is definitely the big story, the India growth story, the India's energy story, but short-term execution questioning. So I'm going to keep a very neutral view for this company, around 5.5 out of 8 when it comes to Juniper Green Energy. Take things with a pinch of salt. It's just been 1 month the company has come for the IPO. Let it develop more, and maybe we get more perspective in the next KYC session as well. But our conversation continues, and we'll have Ankush Malik, the whole-time director and CEO at Juniper Green Energy, where he'll talk about his journey, the company's journey, and what lies ahead for the future as well. But let's take a small break. We'll be back soon.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी। अंबा शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रेनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार। अंबा शक्ति SDTMT।
Let's build a staggered deployment approach and balance things out between aggressive and safe bets.
Ionic Wealth is your co-founder in your journey of wealth creation.
Let him get a second opinion first.
Sounds good.
Ionic Wealth is putting the power of institutional grade AI in your pocket, so you can get your second opinion first.
इस शेयर मार्केट में हाथ में हो कोई भी फोन, यहाँ है सबका इक्वल हक, क्योंकि आप जो भी हो,
जहाँ से भी हो, जैसे भी हो,
ये मान सकता है बॉस। तो SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो या IPO, डाउनलोड ग्रो।
प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
Arunesh Chawla, the DPUM secretary, speaking exclusively with us on NDTV Profit. How do you see the momentum from here, and what's your reading on the expectations around the Hindustan Copper OFS?
This is in line with Prime Minister's vision of sharing the national wealth with ordinary investors, minority stakeholders and citizens of India. Hindustan Copper, has a good futuristic investment plan. And if you see the market analysts and the feedback, this is a stock which is forecast to go upward.
80,000 crores, Mr. Chawla, is the target. You've already hit 52,000 crores in FY27. Do you expect to comfortably exceed this target?
I would say we are working hard and will achieve the target.
What is the dividend picture looking like for CPSEs?
Dividends, we have a plan, but you will see that plan becoming active in the second half, which is when the dividends come in.
New rules of engagement. Ambitions crossing borders. Voices refusing to wait their turn. India is chasing gears. Faster, bolder, more restless. It doesn't stop. Neither do we. NDTV.
Hello and welcome back to Know Your Company. We are joined in by Ankush Malik, the whole-time director and CEO of Juniper Green Energy, recently listed company and good Q1 numbers coming in. Mr. Malik, it's always a pleasure to have you with us. What's the actual moat for the company and the industry positioning? You're coming first time in KYC. Take it away.
So the business is, we are a renewable IPP, right? So we build projects, we then own them for life, right? And sell power to utilities under long-term PPAs. I think how we have differentiated ourselves is, so today in terms of overall capacity, we have more than 11 gigawatts of capacity in our pipeline, of which the operational capacity is around 2.5 gigawatts. There's another 3.6 gigawatts which is under construction where the PPAs have been signed. And there is another 5 gigawatts where we have won the tenders and we are awaiting PPAs, right? Now, along with this, we are also building, we also require 9 gigawatt hours of battery, right? Now, so the real differentiator for us, I think, has been in terms of our capabilities around having all three sources, which is wind, solar, and batteries, right? So what we have been able to do, we started off with solar. We then moved into wind around 2021, and we have in our earlier avatar as Orange, we had done a lot of wind. We started that in 2022, and then in 2024 we moved into batteries as well, right? So having all three capabilities has allowed us to do these new age tenders, which are called FDREs, which is firm dispatch RE, and that plus hybrids form around 84% of our portfolio. So primarily, I think what happens is you get better returns on these projects because this is technology which is newer. So you can move because we have been able to move faster on these. We have been able to make returns which are better than the market. In terms of our moat, I think on a qualitative basis, it's about being able to move very, very fast, right, on ground.
And Ankush, what led to a strong Q1, and going ahead, what will be the guidance?
So yeah, I think the numbers are strong, but I think this will keep on happening primarily because if you look at the capacity addition, right? So the capacity addition that has happened. So last year FY25 we were 1170 megawatts of capacity. That capacity today sits at 2575, of which around 700 megawatts has come in the last 4-5 months, right? So what then happens is in the coming quarter, you will see the entire revenue EBITDA for this capacity also coming through. What happens is, in terms of guidance, right, what we are looking at is by end of FY, so by FY March 27, we are looking at a capacity of around 4 gigawatts. The battery capacity would be around, by March 27, should be around 2.5 gigawatt hour, goes up to 4.5 gigawatt hours by June 27. And then FY28, we are looking at a number of around 6 gigawatts plus 10 gigawatt hours of battery, right? So primarily because of this, you will see numbers as also growing very, very fast, right, on the revenue and the EBITDAs. The capacity that we're talking about, which is the 4 gigawatt capacity by March 27, the run rate EBITDA is around 2,700 crores.
And Ankush recently announced a 25-year PPA with SGVN. What are the key details and our order outlook here?
Right. So this PPA that we signed yesterday is a 50 megawatt PPA, which is a 25-year PPA. But our business model, all our projects actually have, or 98% of our capacity is tied up under similar PPAs, right? So these are all 25-year PPAs. So the good part is once you see our EBITDAs coming through, right? So whatever EBITDA has come through, that will essentially remain throughout for the next 25 years, right? Because the PPAs are already signed, our product is already sold. What happens is we have these stable cash flows which remain, and the growth comes in from new capacity, right? So that's the benefit of having a 25-year PPA, right? It's a very, very stable cash flow, so you'll not see EBITDAs going suddenly going down, right? So there is some variation due to weather, but that variation remains between plus minus 5%, right? But whatever you see today in that has come from commissioned capacity, that will stay not forever, but that will stay for the next 25 years.
And Ankush, what would be the margin guidance for FY25? Any sustainable rates going ahead?
See, in terms of our EBITDA margins, you would have seen that this year or this quarter, this number is around 90% or 90 to 91%. We believe in our business, this is where our EBITDA margins will stay. So 90 to 91% is the EBITDA margin that we are looking at over a longer term period. It has improved previously from 86%. And that is again primarily because the size was much lower, right? So we are 1100 megawatts. Now we are a 2.5 gigawatt company. We largely see the EBITDA margins being stabilized around these numbers going forward.
See, there are a lot of risks also, concentration risks, execution risk in the industry also. How does your company mitigate that?
In terms of execution, I think execution risk, especially on renewables, is around two things majorly. It is land and grid connections, right? So once the land acquisition is done and you have a grid connection, the project completion or the project construction is pretty standard, right? Maybe a little more tedious on wind, but on solar it's pretty not a major risk, right? So what we have been able to do is we have been able to move early on grid connections and land, right? So today we have grid connections for our entire capacity that is there in our pipeline, right? So for the entire 11 gigawatts, we have grid connections. We have another 4.5 gigawatt of grid connections further. And same is the case for land, right? So land, we have already acquired 14,000 acres of land, which is available for our under construction and pipeline projects. So I think, yeah, so primarily the way to mitigate these risks is to move early, right? Have sites which are developed by the time, so that by the time you get into construction, these are all those issues are sorted. And that's what we try to do.
All right, and Ankush, speaking of BESS, that is battery energy storage systems, how is that growth looking like for your company?
So on the BESS space, right, I think BESS has primarily come in over the last 2.5 years. I think where we sit on BESS is providing it as a full solution along with our renewables, because then it allows us to provide solutions which cannot be provided by a lot of entities, right? Allows us to then have higher margins with respect to competition. There are now standalone BESS tenders that have come about over the last 1.5 years. But there we have still not participated because the returns are not significant, right? What has happened is getting bid as a transmission element where the risks are pretty low. A lot of new people have entered. So we're not looking at a standalone BESS to that extent, given the returns that are available. We're looking at it as a part of our overall renewable solution, which has allowed us to add returns to our renewable portfolio. So that's how we are looking at BESS.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ankush, for your views on the company recently listed, coming first time for the KYC and giving interesting industry views as well. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. So there was an interesting company debuting for the first time in KYC, Juniper Green Energy. But is there some execution risk at play, or India's growth story, the long term for the renewable energy remains strong? For interesting companies like this and much more, including the newly listed ones, stay tuned to NDTV Profit, and yes, keep watching KYC.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी। अंबा शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रेनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार। अंबा शक्ति SDTMT।
When outcomes matter, you trust accuracy and precision every time. Because cricket ho ya medical care, trust is earned with consistency. Welcome to Lord's Med. Empowering health, touching lives. Accuracy that shows up when it counts the most. State-of-the-art innovation, made in India. Or trust, puri duniya ka. When it comes to medical care, choose Lord's Universe. Precision with care.
Lord's Mark Industries, हमेशा आपके साथ.
Factoring in LRS, the route, and the currency hedge, here's your best move.
Ionic Wealth is your co-founder in your journey of wealth creation.
What's the rush? Let them get a second opinion first.
Yeah, this works.
Ionic Wealth is putting the power of institutional grade AI in your pocket so you can get your second opinion first.
इस शेयर मार्केट में हाथ में हो कोई भी फोन, यहाँ है सबका इक्वल हक, क्योंकि आप जो भी हो,
जहाँ से भी हो, जैसे भी हो,
ये मान तो SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो या IPO, डाउनलोड ग्रो।
प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
एक कूलिंग टॉवल है, ये पोजीशन एज द हीट प्रोटेक्टिव गियर। I can feel the cooling. We have a couple of lakh workmen working at different sites in very harsh conditions, and I'm more than happy to get your product to all of them.
This is such a moment for him.
हमने ये बनाया एडेप्टिव, व्हीलचेयर बाउंड पीपल के लिए इंडिपेंडेंट मोबिलिटी है।
इस तरीके से he is going to be the hero for many people.
Don't look at the disability, look at the magic of the ability that they have.
3 decades of watching the world change. Of asking the questions that couldn't wait. Of telling the stories that couldn't be ignored. Of holding the line when it mattered most. Times change, our purpose doesn't. NDTV 24/7 is now NDTV, when it really matters.
Arunesh Chawla, the DPUM Secretary, speaking exclusively with us on NDTV Profit. How do you see the momentum from here, and what's your reading?
Nifty started the session in the green today, but now trades off day's highs, still above 24,000. Broader markets see mixed moves. IT leads with gains as heavyweights aid the rally, and FMCG, auto as well as real estate drag in the trading session today. IT stocks surge with TCS, Infosys and HCL Tech gaining as Nvidia's strong results revive optimism around the global AI trade. Oil holds gains as hopes of a swift US-Iran deal fade. Uncertainty over Strait of Hormuz reopening keeps the supply risks elevated, supporting crude prices. Tencent's Instruments makes a blockbuster market debut with shares more than doubling from the IPO price. The issue also sees massive investor demand, oversubscribed multiple times. Ather Energy jumps as Hero MotoCorp really moves to buy more shares. Tejas Network surges after bagging a large TCS order for BSNL's 4G network, exceeding its existing order book. Hello and welcome. You have joined us on Markets at 12. I'm Nisha Podar and we are here today in NDTV Profit, really celebrating the day of Raksha Bandhan. To all our viewers, many warm wishes on this particular occasion from the entire team of NDTV Profit and Markets at 12. Let's begin the show by looking at the market. And yes, the markets are also treading cautiously today. Nifty 50 flattish in trade in terms of the momentum, but absolutely listless at this particular time after really losing a lot of ground from the positive zone to now the negative zone. But 24,000, that is coming close, and that is where a large amount of pessimism really lies. Let's take a look at the internals. It's a broad-based kind of a pressure movement, because if you take a look at the sectors, it's only the IT sector which is really showing the maximum amount of momentum. And there you go, it's Infi, TCS and some of the banks like HDFC Bank which are really up in trade. But there you have the sectoral play. Just take a look at that. It's a sea of red there and only a tinge of green, especially coming in from the IT sector. But remember, IT sector has been a highly volatile sector for many months now. There are days it's the top gainer and there are days it is the top loser. There is nothing in the middle when we talk about this particular sector's momentum. In fact, if we really take a look at the broader market also, mid-cap universe is also in the red zone, 0.1% down in trade. And when we take a look at the banking sector, that is one space which is really taking the lead in terms of pessimism, especially from the heavyweight side, that is putting pressure now on Nifty 50. Aman Chauhan, who's a fund manager at Abacus Asset Manager, joins in now for more discussion. Aman, good to have you on NDTV Profit, and warm wishes on Raksha Bandhan to you and your family as well. To begin with, on a day like this, of course, the participation is also on the lower side, but it is quite listless day of trade. And we have seen enough momentum in the first half hour of trade where market has lost a lot of ground. What's your sense on that?
Sure. Hi Nisha, thanks for inviting me, and festive season greetings to you and your viewers also.
Thank you.
It's not just today. I think last 2-3 days market has been lackluster, and one of the near-term reasons is that there's too much of activity on the block trades, on the P blocks that is coming in, which is sucking in the liquidity. So not much of money or interest has flown into the secondary market per se. So too much euphoria in IPOs in that sense and blocks. So these two things are taking a bulk of the liquidity. That to me is one of the near-term reasons. Besides that, crude is still north of 80-85, which is not a good signal, though we have stopped discussing the Middle East crisis on a daily basis, but that is something that is still lingering. In spite of FCNR, everything coming in, rupee is still 95-96, so that is also not improved. So from the global perspective, things are not yet turned positive for somebody to look at India in a big way and we see a good rally, and hence the time correction or the sideways moves that we see.
All right. So Aman very well pointed out. In fact, this was one particular trend which was really on top of my radar also in terms of the selling pressure really coming in with the block deals really taking place. Is it a market of sell on rise? Because as soon as the markets really tested again, Nifty 50 at 24,200 levels, a series of block deals really came in with some bit of stock momentum already seen. Is that a sign that the market and these investors are pessimist about the long-term gains and maybe see further weakness going forward, even though we are entering into a sustained festive season? So is that the sense we are getting from these large investors and the block deals being launched right now?
No, sorry, we can't say that, because frankly, this is a market. For every buyer, there is a seller, right? So while the FI or a P is selling, the domestics are buying, right? So if you look from the domestic angle, they are bullish, and that's the reason they are buying, right? So it's difficult to say that is this a sign that market is sell on rise. Ultimately, right now, for last several quarters, what is holding on to the Indian market is domestic liquidity. It is a mutual fund, it is the institutional bank, it is a retail bank that is holding on to the market. It's not the FIs, and they continue to remain strong. From that viewpoint, I don't think this is like a market on sell on rise. Yes, there is bit of supply which can, or if which is a near-term overhang, but I think in the month or so, the SEBI deadline for many of the IPOs will be behind us. So whichever IPO has to come will happen in the next month or so. Then it will be a normal flow. It would not be a rush kind of a scenario that we are seeing today. And post that, then markets can start to move up, because then there will be limited supply, and the liquidity that continues to come in then gets, you can say, invested in secondary markets also.
Right. Of course, that was just one of the points that I mentioned. But going forward, the festive season demand and the expected market positive momentum, and then that being weighed down by the crude and many other factors that you mentioned, also add to that a higher base effect in Q3 that is going to impact the overall earnings. How are you seeing the next few months of this calendar year for the market?
Frankly, the first quarter results have been much better than what we or the street expected, because we all felt in the March quarter the Middle East impact was not visible because everybody had a 1 month of inventory, and hence just the month of March was not visible in 4Q. 1Q we felt we'll see the margin pressures, but that has not come in. Not just that, even the top line growth has been pretty decent, right? So the domestic demand has held up pretty well. Based on that, we are now, you can say, expecting a similar kind of number in 2Q also. If that has to pan in, bearing the small impact one might have because monsoon has not been, it's below normal, or it's not been as good as what we would have liked it to be, overall we'll still see then a double-digit kind of earnings growth for FY27. And if that happens, then it's a decent earnings growth that, in spite of macro challenges, in spite of monsoon, everything, corporate India still grows at double-digit. That, I think, is a good long-term positive for any investor looking at India.
Right. Also, Aman wanted to know a quick word on some of the things like the themes that you are still bullish on for investments at this level.
So we are still clearly adding on to pharma. That is one sector which is also a clear beneficiary of the currency, plus it's a very resilient sector. NBFCs and then mid-sized private banks is the preference in the financials. We are also pretty positive on the manufacturing theme, so we might not look or invest into an MNC cap goods company because the valuation will be very high, but anything decent both on the cap goods sides, engineering sides, EPC, anything that is benefiting from the manufacturing growth that is India is witnessing, we are looking to invest into that names. IT, we are still neutral. I know today it's the buzzword because one, stock are pretty cheap post the recent fall, post the AI announcement that came in. But we are still not very excited. We feel more of a market performer than an outperformer, and hence not very excited in adding weightage in the IT services sector. So, and plus we are positive on metals. So both ferrous and non-ferrous is something that we like, and that's a decent exposure in our portfolios also. So those are probably the sectors that we are looking at the current juncture.
All right, Aman Chauhan, always a pleasure to get chatting with you on NDTV Profit. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, and AI is the big theme that we are really focusing on. So artificial intelligence is quickly moving from a buzzword to a real world tool for solving problems at scale. And India sees that opportunity really perhaps better than most. Salesforce India CEO Arundhati Bhattacharya talks about the use of AI and scale of adoption in conversation with me earlier. Let's listen in to an important snippet of that conversation. while many companies are new age, they have adopted it faster because also they are newer in terms of their whole establishment. What happens to the old establishments who have a low-cost model which gives a consistent return to all the stakeholders? There, how difficult is it to really make them understand the ROI dynamics from not just quantitative but qualitative perspective? One. And second, how difficult is the conversion still on many of the sectors which have been the sectors of the past?
So, you are right that the new age companies, because they don't have legacy, they write on a blank page.
Yes.
It's easy for them to start with AI-infused apps or solutions. In respect of legacy companies, they can't throw away their legacy structures, right? So to that extent, obviously, they do take a little more time in order to understand how they will adopt. But the question as to whether they will adopt because there is an investment required, I don't think that question is there at all. Even when you have a legacy stack, you don't just sit on that legacy stack.
Yes.
You have to maintain that stack. You have to change when the versions change. You have to put in new facilities on it. You have to launch new products. You have to address new regulatory requirements. So there is a lot of work that goes on. It's not that you do one investment and that's it. After that, it's a very tiny investment that goes on. That's not the way it is at all. The investment into IT is an ongoing investment.
Yes.
So this will form part of that ongoing investment. However, what is really required is for us to understand, in order to make this really effective, when you are changing a product, you have to also change the processes and the people. Now, people change doesn't mean you change the people. It means you upskill the people.
Yes.
It means you give them the right kind of inputs to enable them to use the new technology.
Yes.
But the process change is also a powerful one, in the sense that what could take earlier 8 steps, today may be able to be done in 3 steps.
Yes.
Now, do you really change the process? Or do you say, this is the way I've always done it, and I'm going to stick to it?
Yes.
So, it needs a lot of rethinking. And that is why you find in the legacy organizations, because they need to put all of their workflows, they need to automate their workflows, they need to create a data foundation, a solid data foundation to whatever they're putting on. So there is a time that is required for them in order to really absorb the newer technologies. But that does not mean that they are not working on it. It also does not mean that they are not going to spend on it. They are. Because this is a must. Means this is something that's a given.
But there was a famous quote that I recently picked up, that there should be reservation for humans in the age of AI.
I think, given where we are, and especially in India, go to any of the state hospitals. Look at the amount of time a doctor can give to a patient. Can you increase the number of doctors materially so that the patients get more time? You can't. You have to have digital labor over there
Yes.
in order to free up the doctors to give that little personal time that a patient deserves.
But sophistication also is a luxury in India, where we are so cost sensitive.
No, but it is not sophistication. What I would say is that a patient deserves to be heard.
Yes.
A patient does not deserve for...
And technology helps that.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what is repetitive? Say, for instance, taking down the symptoms. Now, I have an agent where I just recite my symptoms. It takes it down and comes to a, say, initial diagnosis. And as the patient is walking in, the doctor gets to hear all of this.
Yes.
So he already knows the initial issues, the symptoms, the initial diagnosis. What he does is look at the patient, actually has the time to look up and look at the patient and query the patient.
Right.
So as to ensure that you're getting the right diagnosis or refining the diagnosis.
So healthcare has several use cases, but like all sectors, but the trust bit at the last mile,
Which is why the human will always be in the loop.
Yes.
I do not believe that the human can be taken out of the loop, especially where health is concerned and where money is concerned. These are two things that are primary to human beings. I do not see humans being replaced there.
All right, so that was Arundhati Bhattacharya demystifying artificial intelligence, its usage and adoption by Indian corporates. Let's now move on to another top story that we are really focusing on. It's the new listing that we are talking about, and it's over 100% gain on listing that we have seen on Tencent's instruments. Let me take it straight across to the management and the promoter group, Aryan Rathi, who's the lead global sales at Tencent's Instruments, and also Vinay Rathi, who's the managing director. Gentlemen, so good to have you on NDTV Profit. My first question to you, Vinay, is that the investors have really shown a lot of support and confidence in your company even after listing. The first day pop was phenomenal. How are you going to sustain this confidence for shareholder value? What are the key drivers that you're going to deliver on as a company?
No, first of all, I would like to thank all the people who have helped to have the company listed. And today we have got from limited number of shareholders to today we have got over 1 lakh shareholders. So thank you everyone for this huge listing. So we are not even able to digest what does it mean. So we are still digesting. And what we can assure all the investors and all the shareholders as of today is that we would be pushing hard and pushing harder our goals to reach the customers, supply them better product, supply them better engineered product, stay invested in R&D the way we are doing, and the rest is in the hands of the market.
Right. So several aspects that really work for your company, especially the sector that you belong to, the market, the IPO market is really showing a lot of confidence in the manufacturing and the services which are more real when it comes to the industrial sector. Now, Aryan, when we talk about the global market, of course, your sales and exports momentum has been also on the positive side. What are the growth drivers there? What are the internal targets in terms of reaching out more geographies? And how is the export mix going to increase and also benefit on the profitability aspect in terms of the margins that you gain?
Right. So, I mean, manufacturing is on the up, not just in the investing world, but we are seeing capex across our target industries, and we are very hopeful for a growth in these international markets, especially supported by the newer companies we have set up in South Korea, Poland and Mexico. So we are seeing good traction there, and we believe the growth should be in line with what we've grown in the past. And I mean, it looks very hopeful given the kind of let's say projections we are seeing.
Right. So, Vinay, coming to the numbers, in the last 3 years, numbers that you have posted, we have seen that while the EBITDA margin is the one which has dampened on a year-on-year basis in FY26, your profits have really increased. Where is the margin erosion really coming in from? How will you arrest that? And what is the kind of guidance which you'll give for profits as well as profitability aspect as well?
So I would not say that the margin has come down over the last 3 years. So it is stabilized in the range of the EBITDA range is nearly similar, a point here and there. So those were maybe because of some special projects in some years. So we got some additional margin, but I think we would be hovering in the same range of the margins. So what we are trying to do is to choose our products and also our customers so that this kind of margin can be maintained and having a similar growth profile what we have been having in the last 3 years. So that is our endeavor, to add more products, more innovative products and pushing for a reasonable margin profile what we have been adding in the last years, what we have been having in the last years.
Right. So, Aryan, you want to throw more light on which are the new products which are seeing a lot of demand, where the focus is coming in from in terms of demand as well as value creation in terms of the margin play in more evolved products?
For sure. So, I mean, we're working on multiple technologies across different markets. Essentially, temperature is ubiquitous. So, we are working on specialized technologies in cables, let's say also in the sensors, where we are attempting the automotive segment. We are also working in the new energy areas and developing products for that. So, electrification is a theme that we are very bullish on, and I mean, we are seeing major tailwinds, especially for our electrical heating segment. So we are foraying into the mid voltage heaters there, where that will unlock a whole host of opportunities in a market that is not very crowded. So I mean, it's a mix of newer kind of markets, newer products, developing our existing product lines, I mean, to be at the cutting edge across the global stage.
Right. So also, Aryan, from 29% of the revenue from the export composition, what is the target that could really it can increase to?
Right. So I mean, if you see that our export growth has been a lot faster than what we've been growing in India, and we hope to continue that. That will be a mix of deepening our presence in existing markets like Southeast Asia, Middle East and Europe, and also exploring newer markets. I mean, what I mentioned earlier as well, markets like South Korea, like Mexico, that are industrializing and growing extremely fast. So we see, I mean, immense opportunities there. That said, I mean, India, we're seeing I mean, immense demand. So I think both the markets will be competing with each other for who grows faster.
Right. So there's good competition coming in. But Vinay, give us a sense in terms of it being a capital intensive sector. And now we are in a stage where the pressure points are building on your kind of companies from 2 points. First is the raw material cost, the supply chain disruption overall. How is that impacting? And second, how are you also taking care of your leverage position and making it far less, costly and more efficient?
Yeah, firstly, for the raw materials, so most of our orders till date have been a short-term contracts, like the contract period could be ranging from 4 to maybe 16 weeks. So most of the cost of the raw material or change in the price of the raw material is already built up in the prices for the customers. So there is no impact or erosion of the margin because of the change of raw material prices. That is one thing. Secondly, because of the leverage position, I think so there would be an additional profitability layer which could be added because of we are clearing off a lot of debt on our balance sheet. So that would be adding up a few percentage like on the profitability side because of this additional income.
Right. How much debt levels are you comfortable with? And can you give us a plan in this by this end of this financial year? What are the debt levels that you will bring it down to, as you already have a plan of reducing it?
So we would be clearing off about 55 crore rupees of debt from the proceeds of this IPO. So that is already there in our prospects. So that would be clearing off. So that is the level of debt which will be reduced from the current balance sheet.
All right, Aryan Rathi as well as Vinay Rathi, many congratulations on a stupendous listing, and also wish you all the festivities and celebrations as well. Have a great day. Thank you so much for joining us on NDTV Profit.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. All right, that's TempSense Instruments up almost 95% from the listing price. All right, let's move on to TVS Motors, which has really appointed Raymond Kargar as the CEO and also director effective January 27, 2027. And remember, he will also serve as the whole-time director and also KMP for a 5-year term and over 3 decades in the global auto industry. He brings extensive leadership as well as turnaround experience across Europe, Asia, as well as Africa and also Middle East. In fact, K.N. Radhakrishnan will really continue as the CEO as well as director until 27th of January. So there is top brass changes at TVS Motor, and the stock is plummeted on the changes that have been just announced, almost 5% down on this particular company at this moment. So there you go. That's a big development coming in on TVS Motors. And there you go, also completely out of time on this edition of Markets at 12. But do keep it with NDTV Profit for all the news, views and all the market action. Thank you so much for joining us.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी अंबा शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रेनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार अंबा शक्ति STTMT.
Let's build a staggered deployment approach and balance things out between aggressive and safe bets.
Ionic Wealth is your co-founder in your journey of wealth creation.
Let him get a second opinion first.
Sounds good.
Ionic Wealth is putting the power of institutional grade AI in your pocket so you can get your second opinion first.
इस शेयर मार्केट में हाथ में हो कोई भी फोन, यहाँ है सबका इक्वल हक, क्योंकि आप जो भी हो,
जहाँ से भी हो, जैसे भी हो,
ये मान सकता है। तो SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो या IPO, डाउनलोड ग्रो।
प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
One day, एक कूलिंग टॉवल है, ये पोजीशन है एज अ हीट प्रोटेक्टिव गियर। I can feel the cooling. We have a couple of lakh workmen working at different sites in very harsh conditions, and I'm more than happy to get your product to all of you. This is such a moment for him. हमने ये बनाया adaptive, wheelchair bound people के लिए independent mobility है।
इस तरीके से he is going to be the hero for many people.
Don't look at the disability, look at the magic of the ability that they have.
Arunesh Chawla, the DPUM Secretary, speaking exclusively with us on NDTV Profit. How do you see the momentum from here, and what's your reading on the expectations around the Hindustan Copper OFS?
This is in line with Prime Minister's vision of sharing the national wealth with ordinary investors, minority stakeholders and citizens of India. Hindustan Copper, has a good futuristic investment plan. And if you see the market analysts and the feedback, this is a stock which is forecast to go upward.
80,000 crores, Mr. Chawla, is the target. You've already hit 52,000 crores in FY27. Do you expect to comfortably exceed this target?
I would say we are working hard and will achieve the target.
What is the dividend picture looking like for CPSEs?
Dividends, we have a plan, but you will see that plan becoming active in the second half, which is when the dividends come in.
New rules of engagement. Ambitions crossing borders. Voices refusing to wait their turn. India is chasing gears. Faster, bolder, more restless. It doesn't stop. Neither do we. NDTV, when it really matters.
The news, Ayush. Since when do we do scripts? Fair point. Picture this. The biggest stage. Floodlights. 4K, the works. Where's the hook? There's going to be celebrities and guaranteed eyeballs. Where's the hook? Think about this. Front page advertisements and hoardings. Bro, where's the hook? Cross-platform, digital first, virality. Without a hook, no way. The message is clear. It's 2026. You gotta be real in a world of reels. You gotta be original in a world where everything seems generated. That's it. That's what we're looking for. The best campaigns, the hottest trends, the smartest brand moves on our new show. But wait, what do we call it? The Hook.
They say morning shows the day. Markets often have other plans. By midday, the story can be very different. That's when the right insights help. Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. You're watching trending stocks from the NDTV Profit Suzlon studio with me, Hiral Bhatia, and Sharad Dubey, who's standing at the NDTV Profit Market Pit with all the action. Sharad, I mean, it is Raksha Bandhan, so I'm sure everyone's watching out for some gifts from you as well today. The question is what's happening with the markets, because we are at the day's lowest level. So I'm sure a lot of opportunities and galore from here on.
Well, that's right, and of course, greetings of Raksha Bandhan to you as well, Hiral. But looking at the markets, it's very dull at the large caps, and you can say that, especially the volumes coming down, the markets was doing fairly well in a very tight range, and the sudden fall happening, and right now it's flat. This is happening same for Nifty Bank also. The cash effect is done for the month of August almost, but still no major volumes is coming up. And I'll give you a very important point about VIX also. That is also on the lower side of 10 to 11. A little bit more sell-off coming in Nifty Bank. So the technical setup for Nifty Bank is a little bit weaker as compared to Nifty. But still, you know, it's very less, below the 11 mark. But let's understand the key factors today. What's more important here? Is there a macro asset play? That's something to talk about. There is a volatility coming for both Nifty Bank, and I've taken important support levels for Nifty and Nifty Bank as well. These are the ones on your screen. This is the number you should be tracking because we have broken that 24,100 mark. Nifty Bank support range also is fairly there at that 57,000 odd level marks. But moving on, the volumes and volatility, both the V's are remaining less, and that is why it's becoming a dull day of trade except for IT stocks. Small caps have remained strong this week. Today also, most of the indices in the small cap portion are in the green. Strong short covering and new positioning in the new series for the IT segment. That is why it's doing well. But apart from that, select buying coming in the telecom ancillary, chemicals and EV two-wheeler segment. We'll discuss more on that, as well as the strong listing. This is where the action is. We could say in the primary markets, a superb listing doubled. You know, so this is one of the important stocks to talk about. But action shifts today for three important reasons. Fed chairperson Walsh first speech in Jackson Symposium Hall, and India's industrial July production data and the forex data also comes in. So we will be tracking this, and of course the global earnings in BYD. So not so much going into the weekend, but yes, the overall commentary in Jackson Symposium Hall would be something to watch out for Monday.
Okay, so lots to watch out for. Thank you, Sharad, for that. But let's look at the watch list at this hour. The IT's, entire segment has been back in action, and this is post the Wipro ADR in overnight trade. If you look at TCS, Wipro, Coforge, so large cap, mid cap, both of them seeing broad-based buying activity in today's session. Apart from that, you have a Tejas Network, which is in focus. Strong moves there on the back of an order win close to over 1,500 odd crores. And this order bid has actually come in from a TCS. Just Dial is advanced most in 6 weeks as well, and the volumes are pretty strong, and they have a management change coming in there on that front. Ather Energy, if you talk about a Hero MotoCorp, they will be raising their stake in the company, and that stake is worth almost 1,758 odd crores, and that's the reason why you're seeing that kind of moves on Ather. Moving on, Meesho, in fact, CLSA has initiated an underperform, and they have a target price of 150 on the counter. A 50%, 50 rupees drawdown from current levels is what you could potentially see. Federal Mogul is another one where the board has approved a special dividend, and it's actually trading at levels which is the highest in 13 months. Zee Entertainment is also in focus on the back of the NCLT reducing Subhash Chandra's liability to 6.5 odd crores from 22,000 odd crores. So lots brewing on that front, and that stock is in focus. Dixon also, because GST Council may cut the tax on mobile phones to 18%, and that's the reason why That counter is up in trade. Metropolis, your EBITDA margin target of 27-28% in 3 years is what the management has indicated, and they're expecting improvement in the core business margins, and that's the reason why you have Metropolis up in trade. Tata Tele is also buzzing in trade on the back of smart volumes today, and you have a Tempsons, and that's listed at 111% premium, and this is with regards to issue price. Strong volumes in terms of Whirlpool, and you have a GE Shipping where they've approved open market buyback worth 900 odd crores, and that's the reason why that counter is in focus. But over to you, Sharad, to take the rapid fire with Sachin Janardhan Sarvade.
Okay, thanks a lot, Hiral, for that. Good afternoon, Sachin. Always a pleasure to have you with us at NDTV Profit. IT stocks, we are seeing a good up move coming in, a little bit of short covering coming in, and the new expiry, also new additions are coming in the positions. How do they look on the chart? More momentum ahead, and if yes, which would be a good pick?
So in a broader terms, basically in large caps, none of the IT stocks actually qualify for the trend momentum types. Only the momentum is up, structure is also weak, even the trend is down. So in a downturn, when momentum is up, it is known as a bull trap, or basically a dead cat bounce. So right now what we are witnessing is a dead cat bounce. Only thing is OFSS is a good stock in IT stocks, which has a good momentum, structure, and even the trend.
Okay, so dead cat, or you could say a bull trap when it comes to IT stocks today. That's an interesting take. But Tejas Networks, a big order win, LOI coming in from TCS, good momentum. Do you think there will be much more, power to this up move, or this will also get sold into?
So today's the movement has come with volume, so this is a good thing. Only thing is we have seen some kind of a profit booking from the upper levels, but I think this will sustain, and we can see 625, 650 levels on the upside.
Any kind of a breakout coming in Just Dial? Can you have a look on the daily basis or at least a weekly basis on this?
So Just Dial is in a process to change trend from down to up. So today's up move is not with volumes, but earlier when we have seen around 14th and 15th or 16th of July, the up move was happened. That was with volumes. So after that, we have witnessed some kind of a profit booking, and today that profit booking has stalled. So what I am seeing is from top, almost 24% correction was happened, and today's up move is in the direction of an uptrend. So we can say we can see 800, 900 levels as well in Just Dial.
Right, and GE Shipping, what's there on the charts? They have announced a good buyback also, but remember that's from open market, so it'll take its time. So your views on it? Technically, any trade can be made here on this?
So GE Ship right now it was in an uptrend, and right now it is changing a trend from up to down basically. So right now one should not basically enter in this stock.
Is there a trade to be made for Dixon Tech? Positive news flow coming in, but it's largely a little bit of sell-off happening, and that consolidation range is something we are looking at, or is there something more?
So it has actually trying to change the trend from 6th of July, and it has successfully changed the trend from down to up. Only thing is a lack of momentum and a good structure is pending in the stock. Above, I think 15,000, even that problem will also solve. So above 50,000, 15,000, we can see a good up move towards 16 and 17,000.
Another low volume counter, especially on the telecom ancillary space, Tata Teleservices. Have a look on the chart. Any trade can be made here. The stock is up 6%, or profit booking or partial profit booking would be better here.
I think total profit booking will be a good in Tata Tele, as actually this stock is in a great downtrend in all the time frames basically. So best thing is to book your profits and stay away.
Book profits. Next stock, the last one is Whirlpool. If you can get that on the charts as well. Your views on that?
So Whirlpool is in a downtrend, and yesterday it has touched the 100-day EMA. Today it again rejected that 100-day EMA, and right now trading below that levels. So stock is in a downtrend, and booking profits in this will be a good idea basically.
Alright, that's the end of the rapid fire round. Thanks a lot, Sachin, for that. But now we have Puneet also, and Puneet, A lot of movement happening in the stocks. Which one are you covering?
Well, it's TVS Motor Company. It's a big negative for the company. K.N. Radhakrishnan, he's been with the company for the last 20 years, since actually 1990 actually, and he has actually now decided to move on. He will be stepping down from the role of CEO, and they've appointed Payman Khegar. He is the director and the CEO from 2027. Now, stocks reacting down almost 5% because under K.N. Radhakrishnan, there has been a very strong rise both in terms of sales as well as the achievements on the new verticals that TVS has entered as well. Now the news flow being that K.N. Radhakrishnan will subsequently become the non-executive director of the company starting from July 2027. So there's still some time to go, but definitely a big negative and the stock's down as well. Now the other factor that he has been associated as the CEO since 2008 of August, promoted to director and CEO in 2018, and since 2018 the stock is up 7 times for TVS. It's been a rank outperformer, one of the most expensive two-wheeler stocks, and hence that definitely will take some sheen out of the stock as well. Now the other factor that under K.N. Radhakrishnan, they started the scooter portfolio way back in 2013, but since 2018 there have been multiple launches under Norton brand. The iQube electric vehicle scooter was the other big launch for the company, and they did acquire Norton also way back in 2020 under K.N. Radhakrishnan. So now they will be expecting new launches, but most certainly the sheen out of the stock and that premium valuation will crack up until there is clarity on what the new CEO will target first.
And Puneet, speaking of more auto sector news, Ather Energy is also in focus. What's new here? Is it more acquisitions happening from Hero MotoCorp?
Well, it's certainly a stake raised by the Hero MotoCorp, and it's been a meaningful rise that they have accorded. Now, we knew that Hero MotoCorp will be investing in the company as well. They earlier held roughly around 29.5% stake, now have subsequently invested 1,758 crores. So the stake will now go to 32.5%. It's already been an associate company, but rise of market value, because Hero MotoCorp invested roughly around 180 to 200 crores way back in 2016 in Ather, and now the total market value have subsequently done multiple raises post that too. But with that, the market value is close to 14 to 15,000 crores. So it's definitely a big bet and investment that's done well for Hero. And now with 32.5% stake, which got diluted during the IPO, now again as a strategy for the company, raising stake, if that happens further, will be something to watch.
Thanks a lot for that, Puneet. Tracking all this segment or the auto sector especially. But over to you, Hiral.
So those are interesting moves that you're talking about, because you've spoken about a TVS where you're talking about leadership rejig that's happening on the back of the exit of the CEO. You're talking about Ather, where Hero has gone ahead and increased stake. Pull up that one on the screens. And you have a Ola also, which is in focus because they have launched their S71Z with a made in India Bharat Cell LFP technology, and that stock is also at the day's highest levels with gains of 5.5% coming in there. Sachin, look at the three counters: Ola, TVS and Ather, all the three from the two-wheeler space. On the charts, anything that you like?
Ather Energy I like good because this stock is actually maintaining a good uptrend with a little bit of correction, like 5 to 6%. Whenever we are getting any kind of a 5 to 6% correction on the downside, we should accumulate this stock. We can see at least 1700 to 1800 on the upside.
Okay, 1700 to 1800 on the upside is what you're watching out for in terms of where Ather Energy goes. But moving on, Misho, let's pull up that one on the screens as well and see actually what that stock has done since listing. It's going to be interesting because pretty much steady. You're trading at levels of around 208. You have a CLSA which has actually given it an underperformed and they have a target price of 150 on the counter. What they're indicating is that it's a tough cohort to monetize from here on. Affordability and desirability for the masses is the concern, and can it actually make money? So the question is in terms of whether it will be profitable or not. Overall, if you talk about the AOVs, that's the average order value, that needs to be high for affordability. The improvement in terms of delivery efficiency is what you should be looking at. And the monetization of low income cohort
is going to become a key challenge from here on. Payments, lending and content monetization is competitive in India as streams, and the current valuation is pricing in unrealistic outcomes as well from a Meesho, and hence they have underperformed for a target price of 150. Can we just have a long-term chart in terms of Meesho from the time it listed to understand the kind of gains and what's happened with the counter? This is today's chart. In terms of 6 months, 31% is the kind of returns, 15% in this month, this year itself. Sachin, would you actually say it's best to book profits in terms of a Meesho, or are you seeing further momentum from here on?
I will differ from the reports which you are telling. 150 levels, if actually the stock comes near 150 or 155, it will be the breakdown for the stock, and then it will not stop there. It will actually go down further. But with actually seeing a technical chart, it is right now into a process of giving a breakout from a symmetrical triangle, and we can see on the upside 254 will be the first target, and if that is also broken, then 315 and 380, that will be the targets. So I am very much surprised about the target which you are giving on the downside according to the reports. So I feel it should not come that much.
Another interesting stock is Federal Mogul, and interestingly, it has come out with its record dividend. I think it's the largest dividend in the last 2 decades, and the dividend yield on yesterday's closing price is roughly 17%. Why this record dividend coming in, and what are the key triggers? We have Puneet with us. Puneet, very different scenario here, largely untracked stock, but the story remains something else.
Well, most certainly, and I think it will be, the story still will continue to brew as well at this point of time, because as you mentioned, there's a 7.5% interim dividend, but an 86.5 rupees special dividend that the company has announced, and the record date, of course, being 4th September, but this will be a payout of almost 522 crores, and this is an important figure because this will be a dividend yield of almost 16 to 17%, given the stock was around 550 odd rupees before today's move as well. Now, how big is the context of the dividend is also important. They have roughly a market cap of 3,100 crores. General reserves, what they have, including the cash, is roughly 1,380 crores. So 522 crores, a straight payout out of that 1,380 crores, and hence it has raised certain eyebrows and a lot of attention for investors now as well. This also is much more because the PAT distributed completely of FY26 would be 178 crores, that's roughly 32 rupees, and hence they've gone ahead and raised cash from the reserves also to pay out this particular dividend. If there is any other move that could be followed through, will be something to watch, because this is owned by Tenneco, the global company, which also had another listed player in India. So hence very interesting moves happening in this counter.
Thanks a lot, Puneet, for that. And there might be some mispricing also as per the numbers. What they're talking about is both of them are Tenneco Group companies as well. But Sachin, wanted to get your views on this as well. The stock has rallied a lot. The record date is, of course, in the first week of September. Do you think good time to do a little bit of profit booking in this counter? What do the chart levels suggest?
I think one should stay in the stock, and what I am seeing right now is above 667 levels. We can get a bigger breakout, which can lead targets further till 900 and 1100. So I think there is a potential in this stock, and the target which I have said, even that is only a very small target, which I can say the stock has huge potential.
Okay, there is a huge potential for Federal Mogul. We'll be tracking this as well, and of course we have mentioned it yesterday. It was our stock of the day also. But we are going to keep Puneet busy again. And this time it is for another sector. It's not the auto sector, right?
No, this one's the EMS one that we're tracking right now. And the whack of Dixon Tech, now that continues to be in focus today as well. Now, there are media reports which are talking about the GST rate actually on mobiles to be cut from the current 18% to 5%, and this could be a big boost because a lot of cost savings for consumers at this point of time as well. So we've just done an analysis that cost of a phone, if currently at 25,000, including a GST of 18%, could come down to almost 20,100 rupees, assuming just a 5% GST. So there's almost a 19.5% cost saving that a consumer could do, and comes at a very important time, because we've seen that there has been a very high memory prices which has increased by almost 4 to 5 times, and hence the cost of the the mobile phone has also increased dramatically. There are lesser discounts also currently, so this could help Dixon, because almost 80% of the revenues comes from the mobile business, and hence could trigger a better consumer performance. They could be looking at buying the phone in Diwali again, and hence could trigger some demand, because Dixon has maintained flat guidance for this year. Could be a key trigger to watch.
Thanks a lot, Puneet, for that. But of course, Sachin, we discussed Dixon Tech earlier, but any other EMS stocks which are looking good on the chart where a trade can be made, or these are all consolidation candidates?
On a long-term chart, Dixon actually looking very good, because after a 50% downside correction, the stock has given a good upside bounce. It has right now reclaimed its 50% Fibonacci levels of 14,374. The next resistance for the stock will be around 15,500 and 17,000. Once 17,200 is reclaimed, I can bet this stock will be always in news. Basically, we can see it on the upside 19,000. 23,900 and 28,700. These are the targets on the upside. So I think the downside correction has almost done with the stock, and on the downside we can play like buy on dips also in the stock.
Okay, so buy on dips in terms of Dixon Technologies. But moving on, Manipal Health, let's pull up that one on the screens of HSBC, which is initiated a buy. They have a target price of 1,000 on the counter, and what they're saying is economies of scale are at absolute play. That stock, though, is at the day's lowest levels as we speak. In fact, it's India's biggest private hospital operator, and they're set to sharpen their focus and profitability after doubling the bed capacity since FY23. They're expecting profits to grow 3 times over FY26 to 29, and they're expecting the net debt to EBITDA to actually improve to 0.7 times in FY27 versus the 3.7 times in FY26. In terms of improving EBITDA margins, and this is with regards to the acquired Sahyadri Hospital, that is going to be the key catalyst as well. And overall, if you have to look at in terms of where business goes, or even from the time the stock has listed, if you can just get a long-term chart, it's actually crossed a market cap of 1 lakh crores. 36% is the kind of gains that you've seen on this counter since listing. Sachin, your view in terms of Manipal Hospitals, because 36% is the kind of up move that you've seen since listing. Probably some strong momentum, but today you're seeing some pressure.
So yes, definitely the stock is actually going into steps, basically making a higher and higher low. So the trend for the stock is up only. Only thing is we will see some kind of a small profit booking, and downside the support levels are around 755 levels. If it is holding 755 levels and getting again a bounce, we can again see it can reclaim 815 levels today's top, and can go upside till 850 and 900 levels as well.
Right, of course, that's the view coming in for Manipal Health as well. But speaking of strong listings, Thomson has taken this entire street by storm, almost doubling on the IPO price. Just wanted to get a little bit of SWOT analysis on that. We are joined in by Varsha here. Varsha, this entire week has been very strong for the IPOs, and today is also not different.
Yes, absolutely. But you know, one thing, Sharad, is Thomson. When it comes to Thomson, there are no listed players when it comes to India for Thomson, and hence you're seeing a company which is very strong, have products which are import substitute products, and there's very high switching cost when it comes to products of Thomson, because for the manufacturers or for the steel industry or for any of the industries, the temperature solution products only contributes 1% to the overall cost. So hence the switching costs for these manufacturers are very high, so they don't switch their suppliers or often quickly, and that's the moat that Thomson has. But you know, speaking about the SWOT analysis, well, they are the largest manufacturer when it comes to contact and non-contact temperature sensors in India. They have diversified portfolio across sensors, heating and cables, and nearly 29% of revenue comes from export. But onto the weakness, this is a working capital intensive business. Inventory days have increased over the years, and borrowings have also risen significantly. Onto the opportunities, well, we are seeing growing demand when it comes to metals, pharmaceuticals, defense and industrial automation sectors. Export penetration can increase further, and they do have scope of growth when it comes to acquisitions and JV. Lastly, on the thread, well, slowdown in the industrial capex can have an impact, negative impact on this company, and raw material price volatility may increase, margin pressure. But overall, a very strong company, and hence you're seeing it has doubled investors' money.
Right. Thanks a lot, Varsha, for that. Good analysis on that, SWOT analysis. But we are out of time here now. Thank you very much, Sachin, for staying with us, giving all important technical calls, and in such a market also what not to do, that's also important. But now we are out of time, folks. For Trending Stocks, from me, Hiral, and the entire team which have put together this wonderful show, it's a bye. But for your profit, stay tuned to NDTV Profit.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी। अंबा शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रेनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार। अंबा शक्ति SDTMT।
When outcomes matter, you trust accuracy and precision every time. Because cricket ho ya medical care, trust is earned with consistency. Welcome to Lord's Med. Empowering health, touching lives. Accuracy that shows up when it counts the most. State-of-the-art innovation, made in India. Or trust, puri duniya ka. When it comes to medical care, choose Lord's Universe. Precision with care.
Lord's Mark Industries, हमेशा आपके साथ.
Factoring in LRS, the route, and the currency hedge, here's your best move.
Ionic Wealth is your co-founder in your journey of wealth creation.
What's the rush? Let them get a second opinion first.
Yeah, this works.
Ionic Wealth is putting the power of institutional grade AI in your pocket, so you can get your second opinion first.
इस शेयर मार्केट में हाथ में हो कोई भी फोन, यहाँ है सबका इक्वल हक, क्योंकि आप जो भी हो,
जहाँ से भी हो, जैसे भी हो,
ये मान सकता है बॉस। तो SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो या IPO, डाउनलोड ग्रो।
प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
3 decades of watching the world change. Of asking the questions that couldn't wait. Of telling the stories that couldn't be ignored. Of holding the line when it mattered most. Times change, our purpose doesn't. NDTV 24/7 is now NDTV when it really matters.
One day, a cooling towel है, ये positioned as a heat protective gear. I can feel the cooling. We have a couple of lakh workmen working at different sites in very harsh conditions, and I'm more than happy to get your product to all of you. This is such a moment for him. हमने ये बनाया adaptive, wheelchair bound people के लिए independent mobility है.
इस तरीके से he is going to be the hero for many people.
Don't look at the disability, look at the magic of the ability that they have.
Arunesh Chawla, the DPUM Secretary, speaking exclusively with us on NDTV Profit. How do you see the momentum from here, and what's your reading on the expectations around the Hindustan Copper OFS?
This is in line with Prime Minister's vision of sharing the national wealth with ordinary investors, minority stakeholders and citizens of India. Hindustan Copper, has good futuristic investment plans. And if you see the market analysts and the feedback, this is a stock which is forecast to go upward.
80,000 crores, Mr. Chawla, is the target. You've already hit 52,000 crores in FY27. Do you expect to comfortably exceed this target?
I would say we are working hard and will achieve the target.
What is the dividend picture looking like for CPSEs?
Dividends, we have a plan, but you will see that plan becoming active in the second half, which is when the dividends come in.
The news, Ayush. Since when do we do scripts? Fair point. Picture this. The biggest stage. Floodlights. 4K. The works. Where's the hook? There's going to be celebrities and guaranteed eyeballs. Where's the hook? Think about this. Front page advertisements and hoardings. Bro, where's the hook? Cross-platform, digital first, virality. Without a hook, no way. The message is clear. It's 2026. You gotta be real in a world of reels. You gotta be original in a world where everything seems generated. That's it. That's what we're looking for. The best campaign.
Nifty started the session in the green, but now trades off day's highest point, still above 24,000. Those broader markets see mixed moves. IT leads with gains as heavyweights aid the rally. India defense, FMCG as well as auto lag. IT stocks surge with TCS, Infosys and HCL Tech gaining as Nvidia's strong results revive optimism around the global AI trade. Oil holds gains as hopes of a swift US-Iran deal fade. Uncertainty over Hormuz reopening keeps supply risks elevated, supporting crude prices. Tempson's Instruments makes a stellar market debut with shares more than doubling from the IPO price. The issue also sees massive investor demand oversubscribed multiple times. And among the buzzers, Tejas Network surges after bagging a large TCS order for BSNL's 4G network exceeding its existing order book. Aether Energy jumps as Hero MotoCorp moves to buy more shares. Good afternoon, you're watching Lunchtime Trades with me, Shreyanshi Singh, and this is the show that gets you a roundup in terms of everything that is happening in the world of commodities, news and updates as well on the top buzzers at this hour, all while you grab lunch. But before we do that, let's take a very quick look at the markets. And when you talk about Nifty 50 as well, it's very close to the day's lowest points, just a slight bit of recovery from that as well, so very much off the day's highest points. And when you talk about some of the gainers and losers as well from within the entire Nifty 50 pack, and in terms of a sectoral basis, you do have IT that seems to be standing quite resilient against an otherwise tepid market. So whether you talk about FMCG or auto or realty, consumption, energy, all of those sectors on the back foot, what's holding up quite resilient is something like IT as well as pharma, just showing a little bit of resilience against the backdrop of an otherwise lackluster day as well. But when you talk about the top gainers from within the Nifty 50 as well as the top losers as well, some stocks like TVS Motor on the back foot, so that's one counter that's down about 4% odd. There's a Credit Access, Grameen, Whirlpool and Physics Wala as well, Bharat Dynamics that you're looking at as well. So some of those counters are just sort of on the back foot a little bit, something like a Shriram Finance, ICICI Bank, Eicher Motor. So some of the counters from within the financial services pack on the back foot. There's something like a Cipla as well. Some of those pharma counters still a little bit downbeat against an otherwise resilient sector as well. But when you talk about IT as well, that's the one that's really holding on to some gains as well. So something like TCS, HCL Tech, Tech Mahindra, Infi as well as Wipro. Those are the top gainers from within the Nifty 50. Other than that, there's a Bajaj Auto that's holding up quite resilient. And one other stock to really look at is something like a TVS Motor as well. So do watch out for all of those sectors as well as stocks. But that's said and done. Let's quickly take a look at the entire commodities complex. And when you talk about that, you've got oil prices that do have a very, very interesting setup at this point in time. Let's pull up oil to see exactly what it's up to. But in terms of the broader premise, of course, you do have some bit of weekly loss that you're notching when you talk about oil as well. So Brent about 0.7% lower, WTI about 0.8% lower against an otherwise lackluster week as well when you talk about oil. But when you talk about gold, not at all the kind of picture that you're looking at for oil on the for gold on the flip side, because not only is there a 13% monthly gain that you're looking at the monthly gain being among the century's strongest months as well. So that's what you're looking at when you talk about gold, and lots of factors to watch out for, which is something that we'll be discussing with our analyst as well. But before we do that, let's quickly pull up copper as well and take a look at the price moves that you've seen. So about 14,300 per ton in terms of the price levels that you're looking at for copper. And when you talk about the entire backdrop, it's very close to that record high. So 14,500 thereabout is the record high, by the way, and given the kind of way that it's been gaining as well, 9th straight weekly gain that you're looking at for copper. Now, Vandana Bharti, Head of Commodity Research, SMC Group, joins us on the show right now. Vandana, a very good afternoon, and thank you so much for taking time out. As always, pleasure having you on the show. First things first, just wanted to try and understand what you think about gold, and we'll come to oil in a bit, but it's been holding some of those ranges that we've seen of late, right? So when you talk about gold, though, it seems to be slipping, at least on a daily basis, not at all the picture that you're looking at on a monthly basis with that 13% gain thereabout.
Yeah, hi Shreyanshi, and thanks for having me in the show. Somehow we have seen a golden cross in gold, but since then we are seeing a very little movements in gold prices, and the entire world it is paying attention on Jackson Hole Symposium actually. So we are just waiting for that outcome, and before that there is a very range bound kind of movement in the dollar index, whether it is dollar index, it is yield. So nothing happening like a very in any direction, in higher side, either on higher side or lower side. And the Indian market, it has decoupled with the international market because of the import duty rumor and all. So Indian market it is trading on the discount of say 5,000 to 6,000 in gold prices. If we consider silver, the discount is of 6,000, so 8,000. So somehow the Indian market is trading, MCX is trading on discount. Only this is happening important in the bullion counter. Rest of the world, it is trading in a range. So the Indian market, it is happening.
No, absolutely. And Vandana, of course, season's greetings to you as well, and a very happy Raksha Bandhan from all of us here at NDTV Profit. Missed wishing you earlier, but when you talk about the monthly gains, that's specifically what I'm talking about in terms of what's happened this month. Let's also sum that up for our viewers in terms of the kind of key levers that you had for this kind of growth, right? Because when you talk about this 13% gain, right, there's a divergence in terms of the MCX market, the market back home, and the global benchmark. But what's more important right now is that entire strength that gold seems to be maintaining, because you're still looking at, one of the century's strongest months when you talk about gold.
Yeah, and it is happening when we see generally a correction in this month of September in equity. It has happened from last, if you compare the last 5 years of like consecutive years, we have seen 4 times decline in 5 years in equity market. I'm talking about S&P 500, and the correction in equity market and traditional buying, it is triggering a buying in gold prices, physical gold, ETF buying, and everywhere you can see a buy. So for September month, it is a very good time to go for buy in gold, and it is a time to see a correction in equity market. So we are going to see a very deadly combination, and the buying has started, and it is in everywhere. Like in physical, we are buying; in ETF, we are buying. Central banks, they are already buying, and bond yield volatility, it is forcing another players to come forward for gold.
No, absolutely, and that's a very interesting setup to say the least right now, right, Vandana, when you talk about gold. But when you talk about copper as well, just wanted to get that out of the way because it's nearing those record high levels, close to $14,500 a ton as well is what you're looking at for the record high. So very, close to that level as well right now, and the 9 straight weekly gain. So you've seen that trend really continuing. Do you see that trend really sustaining when you talk about copper?
Now it is overstretched, and there are many strong reasons for the rally in gold, because we have seen many disruptions, mine disruptions in gold, and we have seen decline in China reality sector. It is on a 4-decade decline. But yes, the other niche buying in copper, like from AI and data centers, the demand is already increasing and the supply side is on decline side. And if we consider the LME, SHFE and US inventories data, it is on multi-year low. If we consider the US data, yes, the inventory is on a higher side, but it is not for the open market. So we shouldn't confuse it with the availability of the inventory in US market. Apart from that, new minings are coming. New minings are not coming in copper, zinc, and bauxite in any base metals because of the pollution issues and all. So yes, there is a structural bull run in copper, but I consider the silver and copper ratio. Both are industrial metals. Silver is bit of precious metal, and the silver and copper ratio is suggesting that now this is a time for silver upside, and there should be a plateau in copper prices. So yes, before new leg of rally, we can see some kind of profit booking in copper prices, and this is the time to get shine in silver prices.
No, absolutely. And just how shiny is silver going to get then, Vandana? Talk numbers here when you talk about some of those levels that you're looking at and tracking closely.
Yes, I have referred the option chain data of silver in comics, and it is suggesting that $72 is very much in sight, and the next is $75. I won't talk about $80, but yes, there is some call buildup in $80 strikes as well. So now the support is on higher side. Now it is $62, $63, and the upper side it should move towards the level of $72. So $70 is a very strong psychological supports. Once it reaches the level of $70, very soon we can see the level of $72 because there is a huge buildup in OI and volume at that strike.
No, absolutely. And that makes a lot of sense as well, Vandana. Thank you so much for helping us out with that ratio as well, right? Comes in handy when you're tracking the market very closely. But, you know, when you talk about oil as well, we've seen quite the interesting week. Throughout the course of the week, there's been some weakness, some sort of strength that has been gone from the oil market. And do you think that the alternate sea routes that have been figured out, do you think that's the, you know, one to blame when it comes to this one?
Yes, whenever some supply disruptions happened in the history, rerouting happened very quickly because if you consider the Russia-Ukraine war, rerouting was there. Again, during this Iran and US war, again, rerouting is happening because ultimately these things are essential things. Without that, everyday utilities can't happen. So yes, rerouting is there, and one thing is that we are entering into the mild season zone, and apart from that, some production has increased, and there is some plus in rig counts number. So these are the positive things which is sending the prices on lower side. But yes, the real concern is inventories, and we have seen some kind of buildup in inventory. So that is also a sigh of relief for the Asian economies. So yes, there is a limited downside in crude oil, of course, because the refined products are already trading on higher side. So $77, $76 we can expect in on lower side. On higher side, now it is not $95, it is $88, $89 kind of level we can expect on higher side. So yes, now this is making a lower lows, lower highs these days, a descending channel.
Right, absolutely. And in terms of the price levels, Vandana, when you talk about oil, lastly, just wanted to get a quick check from you in terms of what are the kind of price levels that you're watching out for, both on the upside and downside. And you've been spot on about some of those levels. And this is a little bit of a googly right now because you do have the escalation that is being priced in very differently than it was at the beginning of the war.
I'll consider 200 is DMF for the support, and this is 7,800 on lower side for M6 market. On higher side, I would see like the 8,500 above range for this week because yes, peace talk is on positive side, and we can expect some kind of positive statement from Iran or Pakistan side. So because of that, market is in range. So on lower side 7,800, on higher side 8,500. Below 7,800, we can expect 7,600 kind of level. So now we should get ready to see a narrow range for oil. It is not like that in a week time we can see a volatility of 2,000, 3,000 kind of level.
Right, absolutely. And thank you so much, Vandana, for taking time out and joining us this afternoon. That really sums it up in terms of the kind of developments that we've been seeing of late when you talk about crude, gold, copper, but also silver as well. And that's something that Vandana is quite bullish on, by the way. So that's something that you're watching out for. But as the siblings across India celebrate Raksha Bandhan today, we're putting your brother's Rakhi gift to the market test right now. If your brother gave you 1 lakh rupees last Rakhi, where would it have grown the most? Silver, gold, Bitcoin, or some other space? In fact, Sharad is standing by with not just an answer, but also the comparison on sector's performance from last year, Sharad.
Well, yes, Raksha Bandhan Mubarak. To start with, I'm sure a lot of you are exchanging greetings and also gifts as well. Now imagine, last year you got a gift of 1 lakh rupees. This year, what that investment would have made. I'm sure a lot of brothers have invested in equity markets, but they haven't performed well. Maybe as sisters, investing in gold must have given you 56% returns. That means you earned 56,000 rupees more. Also, if you have invested in sugar, the retail sugar segment, that itself gave 38%. FD has also actually outperformed Nifty. And that's the interesting story here. Silver also, it has doubled your investments. Also looking at, if your brother would have given you something in dollars, say $1,000, how that must have panned out. Let's have a look in that. And we've got some global assets also for you of how things have moved. Of course, the best performing global asset has been Brent crude, if you had invested in the crude ETFs, and the worst performing Bitcoin. But right now, with the last 1 month, Bitcoin has been going up. Global assets, your brother gives you $1,000. Brent, you have made 32%, Bitcoin index lower side, but Nasdaq and even S&P 500 would have made you good returns. And dollar, you also get appreciation as well. So it's a very interesting take, this Rakhi. But remember, when you get the gift from your brother, you don't have to invest entirely on assets. Maybe splurge today as well.
Absolutely, and thank you so much, Sharad, for joining us with that. Now I know where to be investing your Rakhi gift as well, and do keep it handy for after the show ends. And thank you so much for getting us that analysis. But let's keep it going with a special report on BSF Jawans celebrating Raksha Bandhan today as well. Not in solitude, but in solidarity. Young women and schoolgirls from Jammu reached the international border to tie the sacred thread of Rakhi to the soldiers. Let's take a look.
Visuals speak louder than words. The BSF Jawans here on international border, they are not celebrating this festival of Rakhi with solitude, but with solidarity. And here you can see the girls and women from different parts of Jammu. They have reached here, one of the most dangerous frontiers of the country, to tie Rakhi. And this is a very strong message that you stand for the nation with an unwritten commitment, standing like a rock, taking bullets on their body. And we stand with you in all thick and thin. And here you can see they are tying a Rakhi. It is not basically a small thread of Rakhi. It is basically an expression of gratitude from the countrymen towards these Jawan, who are there 24/7, 365 days, trying to ensure that they guard the country. Even for that, even if they have to sacrifice their life, they do not hesitate. That's one of the reasons you will find there. They are not having any kind of a blood relation, but they're having a special bond. And that bond is of trust. That bond is of the Bharat. That means that they are with them, like the way they are always with the country. And here you can see these young girls from the school, they have also come here, they're tying Rakhi, they're making them believe that you might be away from your families, hundreds of kilometers away from your family, hundreds of kilometers away from your own people. But you are not alone. We are with you. We'll try to ensure to make you feel at home, because for them, the duty is really very important. And this Rakhi festival, they are not alone here. And you can see they have got several sisters from different parts of Jammu region who have come out to tie Rakhi to them. Let me talk to them. कैसा लग रहा है आपको यहाँ?
मुझे बहुत अच्छा और गर्व महसूस हो रहा है यहाँ पर आकर, क्योंकि मुझे ये अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली है इनको राखी बांधने की, क्योंकि ये दिन रात बॉर्डर पे खड़े होकर तैनात करते सिर्फ हमारी सेफ्टी के लिए। तो एटलीस्ट हम इतना तो कर सकते कि हम यहाँ पर आए, इनको राखी बांधे और भगवान से यही प्रार्थना करें इनकी लंबी उम्र के लिए। थैंक यू।
So they are praying for their long life because they know strong BSF Jawan means a strong border, and that means the security, safety and integrity of the country.
Well, then there you go. So that's the Chetgarh international border that you're looking at, and quite the symbolic gesture there. But let's also move on and onto some somber news now. Nepal's flash flood disaster has now claimed more than 400 lives, with nearly 1,500 people still missing across Nepal and Tibet. You do have Nepal that accounts for 389 deaths at this point in time, while 3 people have died in Tibet. 1,468 people remain unaccounted for as rescue teams race to reach cut-off areas. The floods and landslides have destroyed roads, bridges, and key infrastructure, complicating some of those relief operations as well. So that's something that you're looking at, and NDTV is bringing you the report from the ground. And let's also go across and see what really led to this Nepal flood crisis.
Tragedy unfolded in Nepal. This was around 8:37 a.m. on the 26th of August when ice and rock collapsed near Nepal-China border. The debris, ice mud and massive boulders were seen crashing into the Khola Dam on the river. And this is when water started building up. This was behind this natural dam of ice and rock. And the first major settlements got hit during this time, and that was hit because of surging flood waters. And this was followed by the collapse of a natural dam, which immediately trickled this disaster. It sent a deadly wall of mud, boulders and ice racing downstream. The surge continued towards Nuwakot, which remains one of the most affected districts of Nepal. It left behind a trail of destruction in its path. And then the national highway, which was also seen getting washed away in the floods, was transformed into a major impact zone. It's day 3 of rescue efforts in Nepal after flash floods. The MEA in India and authorities continue efforts to locate missing Indians. That remains a worrying concern for all of us. Over 290 Indian nationals still remain untraceable in Nepal. Most of them were on religious tours and also on trekking expeditions. 84 of them have been rescued so far. 21 tourists from Tamil Nadu, 106 from Maharashtra are amongst those who have been rescued till last evening.
All right, then. So there you go. That's the entire word coming in terms of the latest death toll as well. 35 countries whose citizens are missing, unfortunately, since the tragedy has hit. That said and done, as our thoughts and prayers are with people in Nepal, let's also move on and talk about markets as well in terms of what the markets are up to. And when you talk about Nifty as well, you're seeing slight bit of recovery coming in from the day's lowest points and similar sort of moves like they were at the start of the show. When you talk about Sensex as well, some bit of recovery is what you see playing out, as you can see reflected on your screens as well. And when you talk about some of those sectors as well, let's quickly pull those up as well, because it's actually IT that's holding up quite resilient. Otherwise, tepid market that you're looking at right now. But when you talk about the IT index, the media, metal, healthcare, all of those indices holding on to some strength, and of course broader markets displaying some bit of resilience. Otherwise, the market is quite tepid as well, including the likes of FMCG, consumption, consumer durables, and of course auto that are on the back foot. So it's some of your IT names that make it to the top of the list when you talk about some of your Nifty 50 companies as well. Let's also very quickly pull up that entire list as well, because it's actually some of your IT names that make it to the top there as well. There you go. So it's TCS, Tech Mahindra, HCL Tech, Wipro, as well as Infosys, Bazaar Auto and Apollo Hospitals also, that are holding on to some bit of gains as well. But that said and done, of course, the one thing that the week has taught us is that AI is, of course, quickly moving on from a buzzword to a real-world tool for solving problems as well. And it remains even more important this entire week as well. India is seeing that opportunity perhaps better than most. So Salesforce India CEO Arundhati Bhattacharya also talks about the use of AI and the scale of adoption in a conversation with Nisha Podar as well. And let's listen into a slice of that conversation.
While many companies are new age, they have adopted it faster because also they are newer in terms of their whole establishment. What happens to the old establishments who have a low cost model which gives a consistent return to all the stakeholders? There, how difficult is it to really make them understand the ROI dynamics from not just quantitative but qualitative perspective? One. And second, how difficult is the conversion still on many of the sectors which have been the sectors of the past?
So, you are right that the new age companies, because they don't have legacy,
they write on a blank page.
Yes.
It's easy for them to start with AI-infused apps or solutions. In respect of legacy companies, they can't throw away their legacy structures, right? So to that extent, obviously, they do take a little more time in order to understand how they will adopt. But the question as to whether they will adopt because there is an investment required, I don't think that question is there at all. Even when you have a legacy stack, you don't just sit on that legacy stack.
Yes.
You have to maintain that stack. You have to change when the versions change. You have to put in new facilities on it. You have to launch new products. You have to address new regulatory requirements. So there is a lot of work that goes on. It's not that you do one investment and that's it. After that, it's a very tiny investment that goes on. That's not the way it is at all. You know, the investment into IT is an ongoing investment.
Yes.
So this will form part of that ongoing investment. However, what is really required is for us to understand, in order to make this really effective, when you are changing a product, you have to also change the processes and the people. Now, people change doesn't mean you change the people, it means you upskill the people.
So in a week where Nvidia has reported 80% in terms of what they're penciling in for the next quarter for the revenue growth, it's quite important to watch out for AI, but that's all the time that we have on the show for now. Thank you so much for tuning in.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी। अंबा शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रेनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार। अंबा शक्ति SDTMT।
Let's build a staggered deployment approach and balance things out between aggressive and safe bets.
Ionic Wealth is your co-founder in your journey of wealth creation.
Let him get a second opinion first.
Sounds good.
Ionic Wealth is putting the power of institutional grade AI in your pocket so you can get your second opinion first.
इस शेयर मार्केट में हाथ में हो कोई भी फोन, यहाँ है सबका इक्वल हक, क्योंकि आप जो भी हो,
जहाँ से भी हो, जैसे भी हो,
ये मान सबका है बॉस। तो SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो या IPO, डाउनलोड ग्रो।
प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
From bullet trains to Suzuki, Toyota and Sony, Japan is already deeply integrated into the India's growth story. Now, after Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Takaichi's summit, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal brings 200 plus business leaders to Japan. Can the next phase of the India-Japan trade story be around semiconductors, manufacturing, investments and artificial intelligence? Join me, Rishabh Bhatnagar, as I travel with the Commerce Minister to Tokyo, Osaka and Nagoya to figure out where the next level of the India-Japan story lies.
One day, you know, a cooling towel है, ये positioned as a heat protective gear. I can feel the cooling. We have a couple of lakh workmen working at different sites in very harsh conditions, and I'm more than happy to get your product to all of you. This is such a moment for him. हमने ये बनाया adaptive, wheelchair bound people के लिए independent mobility है.
इस तरीके से he is going to be the hero for many people.
Don't look at the disability, look at the magic of the ability that they have.
Arunesh Chawla, the DPUM Secretary, speaking exclusively with us on NDTV Profit. How do you see the momentum from here, and what's your reading on the expectations around the Hindustan Copper OFS?
This is in line with Prime Minister's vision of sharing the national wealth with ordinary investors, minority stakeholders and citizens of India. Hindustan Copper, has a good futuristic investment plans. And if you see the market analysts and the feedback, this is a stock which is forecast to go upward.
80,000 crores, Mr. Chawla, is the target. You've already hit 52,000 crores in FY27. Do you expect to comfortably exceed this target?
I would say we are working hard and will achieve the target.
What is the dividend picture looking like for CPSEs?
Dividends, we have a plan, but you will see that plan becoming active in the second half, which is when the dividends come in.
3 decades of watching the world change. Of asking the questions that couldn't wait. Of telling the stories that couldn't be ignored. Of holding the line when it mattered most.
Good afternoon, you're watching Small Cap Bazaars on NDTV Profit with me, Soumit Sarkar. In the next half an hour, we'll take you through the most important small cap stocks that have been buzzing in trade today. But before that, let's have a look at the markets. Now, firstly, if you look at the benchmark index, it's largely flat. Not any movement that we are seeing. It's hovering around the 24,100 level. But from the day's highest point, we are down close to around 100 odd points. When it comes to the Nifty Bank Index, that's down around 200 points in trade, about 0.3%. But if you look at the sectoral indices in trade, is the Nifty FMCG and the Nifty Auto Index, which have been the key draggers. Both the indices are down anywhere between 0.5 to 0.8% in trade. But on the flip side, we have Nifty IT, which has made a comeback up around 3%, followed by Nifty Pharma, which is up around 0.3% in trade. When it comes to small cap index, not much of a movement, largely flat, but a lot of stocks that have been buzzing. In fact, one of the new listings, Tencent, also falls into the small cap category, has listed with a premium of nearly 89%. Then we have Extranet, IQ Tech, Mastech, all anywhere gaining between 15 to 20% odd in trade. Sunshine Pictures, again a new recent listing. That stock is also up around 14 odd % in trade. Then there is JG Chemical that we'll be talking about in the show. On the flip side, we have Wonder Electricals, which is down 20%. Azad India Mobility down 7%. Kalyani Cast, TPL Plastic, Exatotech down anywhere around 5 to 7 odd % in trade today. So first, now let's see what's on the show. We'll be speaking firstly with the management of MediAssist. Now, if you look at the stock price, it's down nearly 28% on a year-to-date basis and nearly 35% in the last 1 year. But what's the way forward? What is the industry landscape looking like? What is the competitive dynamics here is something that we'll try to decode with the management on the show today. Apart from that, we'll be talking about stocks like MV Electrosystems. Now, the stock has gained post a strong commentary that has come in on the conference call. The stock is up nearly 30% since the company did their conference call yesterday. Syncom Formulation. Now, that stock, if you look at it, has hit its highest level in the last 58 weeks, more than 1 year, at a higher of more than 1 year, and the stock is up nearly 46% in the last 1 month. JG Chemical, that stock is up nearly 30% in 1 month. Today's move is quite great. It's up more than, I believe, 13 odd % in trade, and volumes are quite strong, nearly 2x its 20-day average. And lastly, we'll be speaking about Extranet. That stock has been gaining for the second consecutive session. A name appeared in the bulk and the block deal data, something that we'll get to you today on the show. And the stock is up nearly 49% since listing on 31st of July. That means that in this month itself, the stock has given a return of nearly 50 odd %, and it's up nearly 20 odd % in trade. But as promised, let's go across to the Whole-Time Director and Chief Executive Officer of MediAssist Group to understand more about the way forward for the company. So firstly, to start off with, in the first quarter, the growth, if you remove the recent acquisition that was Paramount, if you remove that and see the growth, then the organic growth has been a bit slow. But for FY27 overall, what's your outlook here? In organic growth and including the Paramount acquisition.
Hi, good afternoon, Sumit. Thank you so much for having me on this show. So historically, Sumit, in our India TPA business, we've always said we will match or better the industry growth rates, right? And part of it is organic, and of course, part of it is through acquisitions. And all acquisitions that we conduct become organic because the renewal and responsibility like immediately shifts to us. So last year we bettered the industry growth rates in group and retail by over 700 basis points. In Q1, we've bettered that by over 600 basis points. So our guidance on this continues to be that we will continue to grow faster than the market in group and retail.
Okay. And when it comes to margins, it had slipped to around 20% I believe. But what is the guidance here? Can you see this coming back to the 22-23% level anytime soon?
Absolutely, Samit, that remains the focus. And historically, we were at 23-24% margin. Of course, the last 3 years, we have concluded almost 3 TP acquisitions and 1 international benefits acquisition. And as I'm sure you're aware, once Paramount came in, our lowest margin that we reported in Q2 was about 17 odd percent. And we've been steadily improving the margins on account of synergies. We reported a 20.3%, and obviously the immediate order of the day to get back to the stable 22-23% margins.
Okay. Now, if you look at the group premium under management, that is also called as PUM, that retention, I believe, has declined from 93.2 odd percent in FY26 to 90.2% in the first quarter due to portfolio rationalization, as you mentioned. But how much of this exercise is largely concluded, and what could be the sustainable retention rate going forward that we should expect?
I think there were a couple of reasons there, Samit. One, of course, is integration of Paramount and a long churn, so the base is very different from the reporting perspective. And secondly, some amount of rationalization, that the size of the portfolio actually allowed us. We see this more as the current financial year indicator, but there is no doubt in our minds that we will get back to our historical or continue to improve on them.
But also, when it comes to the retail PUM, that declined 5 odd percent on a YOY basis, and market share also fell there to 3.6%. What is the strategy here to revive the retail growth? Can we expect market share to improve here on going forward?
So, Samit, like I've always said, retail is taken on a very interesting way of hybrid model in the country, where part of the premiums are directly managed with us in the pure TPA model, and a lot of the premiums are actually managed with us in a plug and play technology platform model, which we currently don't report as market share. But if you included the retail portfolios where that we are helping manage through technology, on the whole, we will be about 33% of retail premiums are touched by MediAssist today. Of course, what is touched in the pure TPA format is where we are reported the market share. So we expect that the hybrid nature will continue to evolve, and in that hybrid model, our market share will only continue to improve.
Also wanted to check with you the 100% migration of Paramount integration, 100% claim migration of Paramount. Has it been done to Matrix? I believe you had given a guidance of second quarter. So is that in process, or has that been done? If anything on that you could share.
We're on track, Samit. Typically, we take about 5 quarters to integrate any acquired TPA fully into our operations, our technology, and our framework. This is the 5th quarter, and we are sort of largely done with the integration, and you can clearly see that in the way the margins are also improving.
International revenue, that declined, I believe, 5%, despite the fact that management has been investing in this business. What is causing this weakness, and how should one see this business going forward?
So, Samit, we invested into Mayfair over 3.5 years ago. We picked up a 60% stake 3.5 years ago. So Mayfair is a 3-decade-old entity running in international private medical insurance space. So clearly, the IPMI space in Q1 was impacted due to 2 big reasons, right? One is the whole ongoing the situation in Middle East, where the shipping related things have gotten impacted, and secondly, much lower student traveling abroad, and that's more a temporary dip in the core IPMI segment that we run. But having said that, we see international as a very big and strong growth lever for us. We moved our Chief Business Officer Nikhil as the CEO of Mayfair very recently, and we've improved our ownership to over 90% now. And we've in fact signed the first technology contract in Thailand under the new leadership, and you will see us do fair bit of work on the international side, and we expect international to grow way faster than our Indian market.
Okay. Okay. How do you plan to monetize products such as Maven Guard, which I believe identified a fraud of nearly 183 crore in the first quarter? So will this AI primarily improve MediAssist's own margins? How will you monetize, and how will this help?
No, great question, Samit. Thank you. So all technology that we build has a dual purpose, right? One, how do we deploy that in our own operations, and how do we improve, and how does it contribute to our margins? And secondly, the most of the tech platforms that we're building now have become an independent line of business in delivering new revenues, and our own tech revenues even this quarter grew like over 50%, right? So tech continues to be a big growth lever for us. So we currently have contracts for leasing Matrix, which is our SaaS platform for end-to-end claims management. We've just signed a host of new contracts for deploying many other new capabilities, including Maven Guard, our document processing, and some of our other capabilities. And you will see them sort of kicking in and adding to revenue over the next 3 to 4 quarters as we consolidate that.
I believe you're talking about the 7 insurers who have contracted the technology platform, and the PM is, I believe, close to around 4,250 odd crore. But anything on the number front, how much could this contribute on the revenue side, on the EBITDA side, at least in percentage terms, that the company is internally targeting?
So we started teasing out technology as a revenue in Q1 last year, Samit. We were around 2%. That was even before Paramount came in. Then Paramount came in and obviously added a lot more to the TPA revenue. And despite the TPA addition, the technology revenue is now 3.3% of the consolidated revenues. We expect that to continue to grow in terms of its absolute contribution. And from a margins perspective, it is a much higher gross margin product. At a steady state, we will be at least 1.5 to 2 times the margins on the TPA business.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us and giving us the way forward for MediAssist. Let's also welcome in our fundamental guest, Gaurang Shah, Senior Vice President with Geojet Investment. Gaurang, you heard the management, but if you look at the share price performance, it has not been that enthusiastic. After this fall after this correction that we have seen, would you be interested, or would you advise your clients to go ahead and buy MediAssist?
Hi, Sumit. Thank you so much for having me on your show. Good afternoon to all the viewers of NDTV Profit and to you and your team. Standard disclosure as required. All recommendations that I'll be sharing with you on your show, Sumit, they are part of our fundamental research team recommendation from a long-term point of view. Our company, Geojet, or myself, we do not have any kind of personal investments, no financial interest, no conflict of interest, but we share similar investment ideas with our clients. They might have their investment interests. So while we remain positive on the health insurance sector and along with the life insurance and non-life as well, to take a call whether to will come out with a recommendation on MediAssist, I think it will take a while. As of now, we don't have coverage on MediAssist, but as the verbatim was given by the management when you were in conversation with them just a while back, I think first of all, the acquisitions that they have done, I think we should wait for all that to play out on the earnings front. And secondly, whatever update they've given in terms of future acquisitions and, of course, the expansion plan, that needs to play out well, Sumit. So unless that translates into earnings, I think it will be a very difficult call to give a buy, sell, and hold on this one. And as I mentioned, we don't have coverage, but we do cover health insurance related one company called Star Health. Though Star Health went through a difficult time in the last 2 or 3 quarters, specifically with the last financial year. And the market is very, very huge, Sumit, as far as health insurance is concerned. The only thing is market share and, of course, in terms of product offering and acceptability. So these are the 3 points that one should possibly look out for. But we remain positive on the sector.
Okay. Well, let's slip into a short break and we'll be back with more small cap stocks on the other side.
केसरिया से मन जोगी
सिंपल बनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी। अंबा शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रिनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार। अंबा शक्ति SDTMT।
Factoring in LRS, the route, and the currency hedge, here's your best move.
Ionic Wealth is your co-founder in your journey of wealth creation.
What's the rush? Let them get a second opinion first.
Yeah, this works.
Ionic Wealth is putting the power of institutional grade AI in your pocket so you can get your second opinion first.
From bullet trains to Suzuki, Toyota and Sony, Japan is already deeply integrated into India's growth story. Now, after Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Takaichi's summit, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal brings 200 plus business leaders to Japan. Can the next phase of the India-Japan trade story be around semiconductors, manufacturing, investments and artificial intelligence? Join me, Rishabh Bhatnagar, as I travel with the Commerce Minister to Tokyo, Osaka and Nagoya to figure out where the next level of the India-Japan story lies.
Arunesh Chawla, the DPUM Secretary, speaking exclusively with us on NDTV Profit. How do you see the momentum from here, and what's your reading on the expectations around the Hindustan Copper OFS?
This is in line with Prime Minister's vision of sharing the national wealth with ordinary investors, minority stakeholders and citizens of India. Hindustan Copper, has good futuristic investment plans. And if you see the market analysts and the feedback, this is a stock which is forecast to go upward.
80,000 crores, Mr. Chawla, is the target. You've already hit 52,000 crores in FY27. Do you expect to comfortably exceed this target?
I would say we are working hard and will achieve the target.
What is the dividend picture looking like for CPSEs?
Dividends, we have a plan, but you will see that plan becoming active in the second half, which is when the dividends come in.
3 decades of watching the world change. Of asking the questions that couldn't wait. Of telling the stories that couldn't be ignored. Of holding the line when it mattered most. Times change, our purpose doesn't. NDTV 24/7 is now NDTV when it really matters.
One day, a cooling towel है, ये positioned as a heat protective gear. I can feel the cooling. We have a couple of lakh workmen working at different sites in very harsh conditions, and I'm more than happy to get your product to all of you. This is such a moment for him. हमने ये बनाया adaptive. Wheelchair bound people के लिए independent mobility है.
इस तरीके से he is going to be the hero for many people.
Don't look at the
Well, the first stock that we'll be covering today on the small caps Bazaar is MV Electrosystems. Now, the stock has gained nearly 30% since their conference call. What was the commentary that had come in the conference call? Let's get in Puneet to understand more.
Well, thank you for that. It's been, as you mentioned, the last couple of days, the company reported the results for Q1 and then had the conference call yesterday during market hours, and hence since then a very stupendous move on the stock. It's actually a very recently listed company, just listed last month. Indigenously has developed a 3-phase drive proportional equipment essentially for the railways, which is a very important part for the company as well as for the railways as a whole. So this has been indigenously developed by them. It's their own technology, and during the IPO the company just had a revenue of 49 odd crores for FY26. Now they've given in strong commentary, but an order book which was almost 19 times of that revenue. So 922 crores was the order book at the time of IPO, which was 19 times the revenue for FY26. That has subsequently increased to 1,000 crores for the company, and they are saying that the revenue will increase from 49 crores last year to 400 crores for FY27, and that is the big factor that's driving the stock today. The other one that they mentioned that they will be able to have higher capacity utilization, so 70 crore kind of revenue on a monthly basis for FY28. So they will be crossing 800 crores in revenue for FY28 as well, and hence given a good visibility over the next couple of years. The other factor and the final one is on profitability. Now, since the revenue was only 49 crores, the company was loss making for FY26. They have mentioned that they're looking at least a 10% profit margin. So that is the other third and the most important point as well. So overall, all these factors leading to a sharp up move on the stock yesterday as well as today.
Right. Gaurang, MV Electrosystems recently listed, came out with its numbers. Did you get time to go through them?
So, as Puneet was describing, from 49 crores revenue to 400 crores, if I heard that right, Somit. And from loss, if you have to take a 10% call on the revenue, then 40 crore profit they're talking about. All this will materialize subject to provide the execution of order book. And I think the numbers they're talking about in terms of revenues and profitability, if the order execution goes on well, then definitely this could be a major turnaround on the earnings front for MV Electrosystems. My sense is that, again, over here, Somit, one needs to have a little bit of patience for the order execution and revenues to move to that level so that the profitability starts trickling in.
Moving on to the next stock, that is Syncom Formulation. Strong move that we are getting in. Let's get in Varsha to understand why the stock could be up nearly 13% in trade today.
Well, overall a good volumes that we are seeing here, but before diving into long-term prospects of this company, let's see what this company does. So they are present across, they're of course a pharmaceutical company present across gynecology, fertility, gastro and critical care, and they have over 1,000 medical representatives across India. They have strong brands when it comes to IVF and women's healthcare segment. OTC and generic brands have wide pharmacy reach as well. Now, talking about the long-term growth drivers, one is of course the strong prescription-led business that might have, that might have induced long-term investors. They have good focus remains which on ethical prescription-based growth, long-standing relationship with doctors which will drive demand, and management is emphasizing on sustainable growth over aggressive expansion. Talking about the brand portfolio, well, Overfresh and Overfresh M is among leading IVF or gynecology brands. Consumer brands like Mega Joy, Asardar are some of their products which will aid growth in the future. Mix of specialty and consumer products provide growth opportunities going forward. On to the export, well, if you see the international business was built since 2001, which is present over 15 countries and have approvals over 10 plus overseas regulators, which will support future expansion. Now, beyond Q1, why Syncom is in focus is of course strong doctor-led prescription business expanding into 15 different countries, leading brands in IVF and women's healthcare, and large WHO GMP manufacturing base, which will support growth for the company in future.
Right. Thank you, Varsha, for that. Gaurang, your view on Syncom Formulation?
My worry, Soviet, is the strong dependency on doctor-led prescription business. Now, going into the future, and as we all know, there are a lot of changes that have been happening in this particular field. And if the regulations have to get tightened, even if there are tighter controls on doctor-led prescriptions, because finally it all depends upon what the fine end of the margin front is. So the strong dependency on doctor-led prescription is something that one needs to be a little bit careful about. Again, no coverage, so no buy, sell and hold. But a cautiousness is definitely required.
The next stock that we'll be talking about is Extranet. The stock has hit an upper sucker of 20%. Yesterday, a big block deal that took place. Let's get in just to understand firstly what does the company do and who was the buyer in trade.
Well, Sumit, thank you for that. As rightly said, the stock has been gaining tremendously in trade. What interesting about this particular counter is it operates as an IT service company and provides end-to-end services. But the interesting aspect is the company did get listed quite recently. It's been about a month since the listing, and the listing gain was about 7% odd. But since the listing, the stock has rallied a lot. If you look at the gains which the company has achieved over the last 1 month, it's nearly about 53%. So that's a huge jump we are seeing. In terms of the things that led to the overall rally is the performance of the company. Now, Q1 was quite shocking given the overall performance. The revenue saw an uptick of 11%, while the EBITDA saw an uptick of nearly 89%. Even the margins have improved nearly 800 basis points, which saw a huge leap from the earlier margin range of roughly 13% to 21%, which becomes a key thing to watch out for. If you look at the net profit, even those were up fairly by 77%. Now, what happened exactly in the Q1 and what's the rally about? The first reason is the overall service contribution. Generally, for IT companies, the service revenue contributes higher margin. So in this quarter, the company had higher revenue from the services. That's why the overall margins improved. Services moved up from earlier 46% to 65%, and management also targets quite bullish outlook for the services. If we look at the other key aspect, the overall order clocked in for this quarter is over 60 odd crores, and in terms of the order book, that stands at 373 odd crores, and the management expects the majority of the order book to ramp up in FY27 itself. Now, if you look at the key commentary in terms of the management outlook, they're targeting a 500 crore top line by FY27. This is huge given the quarterly revenue of the company stands at 50 odd crores. Now, in terms of the growth trajectory, they expect to grow roughly 35 to 40% year on year for next 3 to 4 years. Given IT companies have been growing at 5 to 6 odd%, the small cap company is targeting a growth range of 35 to 40 odd%. Lastly, in terms of the margin, they expect to improve it further by 50 to 75 BPS.
Right, Gaurang, your view, does it warrant to have a premium valuation given the growth rate that it is guiding for?
No, Sumit, I'm surprised with 50% plus run up from the listing, if I heard that right, and the valuation where it is trading right now, given the numbers and the 35 to 40% target that the company's kept. I think this is a very, very tall order. Given the limitations and headwinds in terms of what the IT sector is facing. Again, a word of being extra cautiousness is always necessary. And it would be interesting to see whether the company is able to deliver numbers the way it did for the first quarter. So valuations are very, very rich, Sumit.
Okay. Well, thank you, Gaurang. Thank you for joining us and giving us your view on the stocks that we discussed on the show today. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Small Cap Bazaars. Stay tuned and keep watching NDTV Profit.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी.
When outcomes matter, you trust accuracy and precision every time. Because cricket ho ya medical care, trust is earned with consistency. Welcome to Lord's Med. Empowering health, touching lives. Accuracy that shows up when it counts the most. State-of-the-art innovation, made in India. Or trust, puri duniya ka. When it comes to medical care, choose Lord's Universe. Precision with care.
Lord's Mark Industries, हमेशा आपके साथ.
From bullet trains to Suzuki, Toyota and Sony, Japan is already deeply integrated into the India's growth story. Now, after Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Takaichi's summit, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal brings 200 plus business leaders to Japan. Can the next phase of the India-Japan trade story be around semiconductors, manufacturing, investments and artificial intelligence? Join me, Rishabh Bhatnagar, as I travel with the Commerce Minister to Tokyo, Osaka and Nagoya to figure out where the next level of the India-Japan story lies.
New rules of engagement. Ambitions crossing borders. Voices refusing to wait their turn. India is chasing gears. Faster, bolder, more restless. It doesn't stop. Neither do we. NDTV, when it really matters.
One day, एक cooling towel है. ये positioned as a heat protective gear. I can feel the cooling. We have a couple of lakh workmen working at different sites in very harsh conditions, and I'm more than happy to get your product to all of you. This is such a moment for him. हमने ये बनाया adaptive. Wheelchair bound people के लिए independent mobility है.
इस तरीके से he is going to be the hero for many people.
Don't look at the disability, look at the magic of the ability that they have.
Arunesh Chawla, the DPUMP Secretary, speaking exclusively with us on NDTV Profit. How do you see the momentum from here, and what's your reading on the expectations around the Hindustan Copper OFS?
This is in line with Prime Minister's vision of sharing the national wealth with ordinary investors, minority stakeholders and citizens of India. Hindustan Copper, has good futuristic investment plans. And if you see the market analysts and the feedback, this is a stock which is forecast to go upward.
80,000 crores, Mr. Chawla, is the target. You've already hit 52,000 crores in FY27. Do you expect to comfortably exceed this target?
I would say we are working hard and will achieve the target.
What is the dividend picture?
Hello and welcome back to NDTV Profit. You're watching Ask Profit, the afternoon edition of the show. My name is Puneet Zaveri, and over the next half an hour, we'll try and get to all your stock-related queries. Now, if you joined us in the morning, we solved about 85 queries. So we are going towards that magical century mark for queries being solved in one particular day. Today, of course, greetings to all our viewers of Raksha Bandhan. But let's start with first a very quick check of how the markets are doing before we start taking your stock related queries as well, because for the Nifty 50 you continue to see those moves yet again sold off about 60 odd points from the high of today. So we are at around 24,100, were at 24,160, but there has been that fizzling out of rally. So the heat map very quickly if we can. Individual stocks within the IT space actually continue to do well today, and that has augured well for the overall breadth of what we have seen of the Nifty 50. So for the index, we were up about 70 points, now up about 20. But look at the top 5 movers, all from the IT space, led by TCS. You've seen actually the ICICI Bank, Ultratech and Asian Paints being the top losers for the Nifty 50 now, and seeing some sell-off on broader stocks too. So the index actually very neck and neck, almost 24 stocks in the green, the rest 26 that you're seeing in the red. The overall breadth, if you look at the sectoral heat map, also is the other factor. IT, of course, we've spoken about how well it is holding on to those gains, but it's definitely a slippery slope. We are losing some ground on the Nifty 50. Let's look at the sectoral heat map now if we can, and pull that counter up to give you that perspective. So Nifty IT up 3.2%, Nifty India Defense down 0.95%. Barring that, nothing too much happening. The FMCG also slightly in red. The advance decline ratio then next, very important also, because you were up in terms of higher advances compared to the declines. Look at that, just 16 stocks that are differentiating them. So we had that convergence yet again, and so the last 90 minutes of this week continues to be very important for the markets. Mid cap, small caps too, and then quickly the BSE 500 if we can. You have seen some good moves coming through on a lot of individual stocks today as well. The small cap 250 in the green, mid cap continues to be in red. But what you have seen is Mastech up almost 16%, just there on the back of the management change, up 10%. Tejas is up. Also, if you can pull up TVS Motor Company, there you had a surprise resignation actually come through from Mr. K.N. Radhakrishnan, who's the CEO. Stock fell 5%, has recovered some ground, but a big change that you're seeing in the auto pack as well. But let me welcome in our guest now for the show, Ruchit Jain. He's the Vice President, Equity, Technical Research, Wealth Management at Motilal Oswal Financial Services on the technicals. Joined in by Avinash Gorakshankar as well, Founder and Head Research at Avinash Mentor Services as well. Gentlemen, both of you, thanks so much for joining in. Greetings for Raksha Bandhan to both of you as well. Let me start off with the first question as we take question number 86 for the day. This one's coming through on Coforge. Sriram Raghuraman holding shares at 1478. So he's sitting on some good gains. Asking if he should still continue to hold for the long-term perspective. Avinash, stocks up above and crossed that 2000 mark after a really long time. What's your view on the stock? Should he continue to hold? Avinash, very good afternoon.
Yeah, Puneet, good afternoon, and Raksha Bandhan greetings to you and the entire team at NDTV Profit. I think you should hold on to Coforge. I think this is one of those tier 2 IT stocks where I think performance has been very solid for the last 2 quarters. And I think the markets are very happy that not only the management commentary, but numbers which have come out actually spell a lot of confidence from the management. And hopefully, FY27 should be a good year. The company has also been looking at good, profitable kind of acquisitions. And I think the order book continues to be solid. The tailwinds are positive. So I would say that, despite the fact that the investor has made a decent gain, if you can hold on for the next 12 to 15 months, I think some further re-rating can be possible. So I would suggest a hold, stay invested at least for the next 12 to 15 months.
Correct. Ruchit, actually, if you also have a quick view on Coforge, I mentioned it's back above that 2000 marker. We saw that fall all the way down to 1066 and then have seen a revival. Where do you see the charts go for this one now?
Yeah, hi, very good afternoon. Well, if we look at the entire IT pack and see which stocks have shown a good outperformance vis-a-vis the other names, then Coforge definitely stands out. One interesting thing was that the Nifty IT as a whole, if we look at the recent lows, then it got bottomed in the month of June, in the end of June and the start of July. But if you look at the Coforge bottom, which you just mentioned about 1050 range, that was in the month of March. So 3 months before the sector had bottomed out, this stock had already formed a bottom. And post that, we have seen a series of high top, high bottom structures, good volumes. So that clearly indicates a very strong buying interest in the stock. So it still seems that the rally should continue going ahead. If we take retracement of the recent corrections, then it gives a probable targets around 2250, 2300. So that's quite achievable if one has any positional perspective.
Correct. And an important perspective from both our technical and fundamental expert on Coforge stocks, definitely doing well and climbing as we speak. But viewers, you can also call us on the landline number that is flashing on the top of your screen. Speak to our experts for your queries too. Next one though, it's another interesting one from Veluswamy from Bengaluru. He wants to enter into M&M at this point of time and asking if it's a good time to do so. Avinash, let me come back to you. Seen some revival from the stock, touched 3,500, now back again in the middle. Is this still a good time to enter?
I think Puneet, clearly the stock has outperformed, but I think if the investor has a 12 to 15 month time frame, he could use a staggered approach, maybe an SIP approach, and accumulate the stock slowly. Our sense is that like the first quarter when the company posted a consolidated PAT of 6,000 crores, I think the second quarter is also going to be equally strong. In fact, could be stronger because volumes for both the UV tractors and the electric cars which the company has launched are all doing very well, and I think you could see the profitability getting better. So clearly, the fair value could be anywhere between 3650 to 3700 over the next 12 to 15 months. So I think use a staggered approach and add it to your portfolio. I think this definitely has a long way, ahead to continue to go upwards.
We've discussed this stock quite often, but you see that stock also stuck in that range as we've seen for the Nifty 52 here between the 3,000, 3,500 mark, and hence quite a few queries that we are getting on M&M over the last few weeks. The next one though, on rate gain, Murli from Hyderabad is asking us this question. He's wishing us a Raksha Bandhan, wish you the same, Murli. His question being, Ruchit, he's holding shares at 425 for rate gain. Stock's at 930 now. Is it a good time to book out or should he continue to hold, Ruchit?
I would advise to hold with the trailing stop loss method. The overall trend has been positive in last few months. So 900, 880 is a good support zone for the stock. Until that support is intact, you should continue to hold on and ride this trend.
We spoke about the auto pack. TVS Motor, I discussed the stock. We have seen that resignation come through from the CEO. Now, our viewer Prashant actually is holding shares at 3083. So maybe he bought it once the stock fell to the 3000 mark. But Avinash, how are you looking at TVS Motor now, and how do you look at this surprise resignation that has come through? I mean, the company's strength and what they've achieved over the last few years has been phenomenal. But overall, is this a big negative according to you?
Pulit, I don't think it's a big negative. I think, yes, it's been a surprise decision for this exit. But I think, ultimately, as I understand, the company's products are well established. I think the kind of volume growth the company has posted, it's always outperformed the overall industry growth. And I think the first quarter numbers have also been quite reasonably good. I think months are also going to be equally good because after a very long time, the entire two-wheeler sector is now growing in double digits. Many new product launches expected. So I think, this is a temporary setback. Maybe the stock corrected today because of this sudden, resignation. But I think things will gradually normalize and all this will get neutralized when we see the quarter two numbers. So I think, the investor should not worry. I think markets always look at earnings disappointment. And I don't think earnings are going to get disappointed by this exit. So, it's going to be a strong runway ahead for the company. So I think continue to hold.
Got that view. Good to get that view from you, Vinash. But let's go across to Ratnagiri now. Aniket now dialing in for a stock-related query. Aniket, very good afternoon. Thank you for calling in. What's your query?
Yeah, hi. Thanks for taking my call. So I have a stock query related to which one is good to means I have to enter into Swaraj Engineering, Kirloskar Oil Engines, or Grieve Scott. So as I was advertising, Swaraj engine stock is almost debt free and it also gives like a good dividend. But it's fallen from 4,000 around price now. It is falling. So I need an expert advice for long term out of these. Which one is good to buy and at what price maybe?
Fair point. Got it. Well, Aniket, thank you for calling in. Appreciate your question as well as the research that you put in. But Avinash, between Swaraj engines or Kirloskar engines, do you have a pick for Aniket? How should he look at it?
I think if Aniket is a pure investor, then I think I suggest Swaraj engines looks better. Of course, Kirloskar Oil also has been doing very well, and the numbers have been very solid. But as far as Swaraj engines is concerned, I think it's a Mahindra Group company again, and most importantly, I think they supply engines to the Mahindra tractor division. Most importantly, the asset turnover and the return on capital employed is extremely attractive. More importantly, I would say that in terms of the dividend payouts, also they have been rewarding shareholders in a very attractive manner. So I think if the investor has got at least a 12 to 18-month kind of time frame, he should definitely look at a company like Swaraj Engines because I believe that if the tractor market grows by say 9 to 10%, Mahindra has been one of the large players in the tractor market, has been growing much better than the industry. So here I think it would be a good choice to stay invested here. Maybe you can buy this stock in a staggered manner, maybe in a SIP method, and that would actually help him accumulate the quantity.
Got it. Well, and got that view, Avinash. But the next question coming through from Geeta. She wants a view on Polyplex. She's asked two questions, but Geeta, we can take one at a time. We have a lot of queries today on Polyplex. She wants to know for the next 1 year if she can buy more. Now, Ruchit, we've seen actually a good move in this year for the counter, up 40%. Is this still a good buy at this price?
Yes, the near-term trend still seems to be positive. After a huge corrective phase, the stock has started forming the high top, high bottom structure. Major support is around 1100 to 1150. So you can buy at current levels.
Got it. Also, Ruchit, a very interesting one from Madan, who's from Hyderabad. He's looking at PNG Health. That counter is at a 52-week low is what he's mentioning, and asking what's the outlook for the counter now if it's good to enter. How do the charts look for this counter, Ruchit?
So overall, it has not been that positive. Even from a daily liquidity perspective, you see the volumes are not that high. So where the stock has been showing a relative underperformance to the broader markets, it's better to avoid.
Better to avoid. Got it. The next question, though, it's on Tejas Networks. Let's pull up the counter today. Stock is doing well on the bourses. If up almost 8.5%. Our viewer, actually, Ekambara, who's from Hyderabad, he's a regular viewer of the show, is holding shares but at elevated levels of 983. So he's in considerable losses right now. I think, Ruchit, we've discussed this stock with you in the past too. But since he's a senior citizen, holding Tejas at an elevated level, and this counter is also very volatile, if you can give him any advice of what he should do now going forward. He wants to, of course, lower his average cost, but is this the correct time? What should be his strategy? Would you recommend an exit?
I don't think it should look to average at least, although the stock is up on the good news of order flows today. But if you look at the past history, there have been several occasions where the stock just shoots up for 1 or 2 trading sessions, but there is no follow-up move. So overall trend, the mid to long-term trend has not changed yet. So I would advise not to average at current levels, hold your position as it is. Whenever we see a change in the broader trend, then look to average, but not at current price.
Got it. Avinash, if you can also give a fundamental view, because Ekambara is really stuck in this counter. So just a quick view, if you have on Tejas as well. Do you agree with Ruchit?
Yeah, I think he should not sell out, but at the same time, I think the next 2 to 3 years are going to be very solid for Tejas. This is a 1700 crore order which they've got from TCS, and I think orders are expected to come in. So I think considering the fact that now Tata's hold a fairly large stake here, and I think the growth momentum continues. If he has a 2-year plus kind of view, he should average, because I think his buying price has been elevated, and he still continues to be in a loss. So I think it's better that he averages and stays invested for the next 2 to 3 years. Only then I think you could expect a decent risk reward for the stock going forward.
Fair point. Got it. Let's go across to Bengaluru now. Mallikarjuna dialing in for a stock-related query. Mallikarjuna, very good afternoon. Welcome to the show. What's your query?
Yeah, very good afternoon, team. I'm holding 4 stocks of Force Motors.
Okay.
At average price of 17,602.
Okay.
I just want to know, can I add more? And I'm looking at holding this stock for next 1 year. And I wanted to know, is it good option for the next 1 year to hold this stock?
Got it, Mallikarjuna. Let me go across to Ruchit also on this counter, because Ruchit, we've seen and we've discussed this with you that stock hit 25,000 and then has come back down. But what's your view on Force Motors? Good time to buy?
Yeah, so already we have seen a good price rate correction from its highs which were formed in the month of February. Although in the short term, the trend is not looking that positive, but can expect some consolidation for maybe 2 to 3 months more. So in case if you're looking to buy for the portfolio, then buy in a staggered manner, where at current levels you add some positions, not 100% of what you want to buy. And in case if you get further declines towards 16,500, 16,400 if it comes, then those will be the levels where you can add most of your positions there.
Got it. Got that view, Ruchit. But let's go across, taking the next question now. And this one's actually on Enviro Infra Engineers. Venkatesh holding shares at 220. He wants a 8-month view on the counter. So Ruchit, I'll come back to you. Stocks just slipped below 200, but any view on this one?
More into a consolidation phase. 170 to 220 has been the trading range, and there are no high volumes along with the price up. So I think the trend, sideways trend, should continue for some more time.
Got it. Well, let's now start the rapid fire round in this edition of the show. Ruchit as well as Avinash, you both know the drill. The first question coming through, it's on between Granules and Gland Pharma, which is a better pick for more than a 12-month horizon. Avinash, what would you recommend?
I would suggest Granules India is a better choice, much more stable business model, and I think growth momentum better than Gland Pharma. I think I would prefer Granules.
The next one's between Intellect Design Arena or Latent View Analytics. Jigar from Mumbai wants to know either of those, Ruchit, for the next 9 to 12 months. What's your preference?
So latent is in a downtrend, no signs of change in trend over there. So being IT being positive for structure, I think Intellect can give some bounce back, but not at current levels. I would wait for a breakout above 700.
Got it. Also, Ruchit, a view on Biocon as well. Mr. Koteshwar Rao wants to know what you think of it.
From a short-term perspective, avoid the stock. Better to prefer Glenmark over Biocon.
Got it. The next one, and this one we've answered. So let me go and take another one on Pine Labs, bought at 160 by Anthony. How are you looking at this counter, Avinash, now?
I think one should definitely continue to hold on. See, I think a lot of payers machines are now being used in commercial malls as well as business places. So I think it has a very good future. So continue to hold.
PS Rao from Bengaluru holding Divi's, but he's bought it at 1,050. So he's bought it at very, very attractive levels. He bought it 6 years ago. So good on you, Mr. Rao. Is it still a good hold for the next 2 years, Avinash?
No, it's a good hold, but I think prudent capital allocation suggests that he should actually take out his capital, and the rest of the stocks he can consider them to be free, and so he can ride the market volatility in a much more comfortable manner.
Fair point. The next one's on All Cargo Logistics, bought at 50 rupees by our viewer Satya Kumar. He's also got an All Cargo Global, but he wants to know, Ruchit, what he should do with either of those counters. So because he's trading at a loss for All Cargo, what's your view on the counter?
The trend is not much positive, so on any pullback moves towards 13 to 14 range, exit.
Got it. The other ones from Nand Gopal on Tempsense. Now, I don't know, Avinash, if you have a view, an absolutely blistering listing today, but what's your view on the counter now? We had a lot of queries. I'm just combining all of them. Any view here?
So I think, today is the first day of the listing. The premium for this stock has been quite significant. The IPO price was 300. So I think, the investor, if he has a medium to long-term view, he should continue to hold. I think at least the first 2 quarters, once the company puts out numbers, that would give a clear indication. It's in a niche area, temperature and sensors, so continue to hold only for the medium to long.
A lot of people, Avinash, unfortunately didn't get the IPO. So is it also a good buy, or would you wait for the quarterly results to come through and then form an opinion?
No, I think it's better to wait because, rather than buying on the very first day, it's better to wait for the stock to settle down. And I think probably after the second quarter numbers, which will be out, once the stock goes public, that would be a better time to look at it.
Got it. Well, that was the last question, and good to end on a happy note of a stock that's up 95%. But with that, viewers, we have crossed that 100 query mark. Thank you so much, Ruchit, as well as Avinash, for those queries today. Really enriching discussion, as always, with both of you. But viewers, out of time on this edition of the show. Thanks so much for watching again. Stay tuned, a lot more action on the other side.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी.
When outcomes matter, you trust accuracy and precision every time. Because cricket ho ya medical care, trust is earned with consistency. Welcome to Lord's Med. Empowering health, touching lives. Accuracy that shows up when it counts the most. State-of-the-art innovation, made in India. Or trust, puri duniya ka. When it comes to medical care, choose Lord's Universe. Precision with care.
लॉर्ड्स मार्क इंडस्ट्रीज, हमेशा आपके साथ.
From bullet trains to Suzuki, Toyota and Sony, Japan is already deeply integrated into the India's growth story. Now, after Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Takaichi's summit, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal brings 200 plus business leaders to Japan. Can the next phase of the India-Japan trade story be around semiconductors, manufacturing, investments and artificial intelligence? Join me, Rishabh Bhatnagar, as I travel with the Commerce Minister to Tokyo, Osaka and Nagoya to figure out where the next level of the India-Japan story lies.
New rules of engagement. Ambitions crossing borders. Voices refusing to wait their turn. India is chasing gears. Faster, bolder, more restless. It doesn't stop. Neither do we. NDTV, when it really matters.
Arunesh Chawla, the DPOM Secretary, speaking exclusively with us on NDTV Profit. How do you see the momentum from here, and what's your reading on the expectations around the Hindustan Copper OFS?
This is in line with Prime Minister's vision of sharing the national wealth with ordinary investors, minority stakeholders and citizens of India. Hindustan Copper, has good futuristic investment plans. And if you see the market analysts and the feedback, this is a stock which is forecast to go upward.
80,000 crores, Mr. Chawla, is the target. You've already hit 52,000 crores in FY27. Do you expect to comfortably exceed this target?
I would say we are working hard and will achieve the target.
What is the dividend picture looking like for CPSEs?
Dividends, we have a plan, but you will see that plan becoming active in the second half, which is when the dividends come in.
One day, a cooling towel is positioned as a heat protective gear. I can feel the cooling. We have a couple of lakh workmen working at different sites in very harsh conditions, and I'm more than happy to get your product to all of you. This is such a moment for him. हमने ये बनाया adaptive. Wheelchair bound people के लिए independent mobility है.
इस तरीके से he is going to be the hero for many people.
Don't look at the disability, look at the magic of the ability that they have.
The news, Ayush. Since when do we do scripts? Fair point. Picture this. The biggest stage. Floodlights. Wow. 4K. The works. Where's the hook? There's going to be celebrities and guaranteed eyeballs. Where's the hook? Think about this. Front page advertisements and hoardings. Bro, where's the hook? Cross-platform, digital first, virality. Without a hook, no way. The message is clear. It's 2026. You gotta be real in a world of reels. You gotta be original in a world where everything seems generated. That's it. That's what we're looking for. The best campaigns, the hottest trends, the smartest brand moves on our new show. But wait, what do we call it? The Hook.
They say morning shows the day. Markets often have other plans. By midday, the story can be very different. That's when the right insights helps you rethink the day. Trades, trends, the moves that matter. Join me, Nisha Poddar, for Markets at 12, your edge for every move.
Buy now.
Sell immediately.
Hold it, boss. Buy now. Sell. Hold. Buy. Sell immediately.
Confused? What to buy? What to sell? What to hold? Ask Profit with Mahima and Puneet. Monday to Friday, 10:30 a.m. Only on NDTV Profit. When the headlines move fast, perspective matters.